fire, and you're looking out the window, but your eyes keep returning to the fire. This is what I'm thinking. The reason your eyes keep returning to the fire is because it divides your sight into left and right, and dark and light and dark, like a fine dividing wire. Here's another thing that I noticed last night. When he kissed me over there, he usually kissed me over here too. Must have known it in my heart and with my inner sense of art, 'cause when I kiss him over there, I never kiss him over here too. It's the way of the world, people do it everywhere. If you're gonna do it over here, then usually they do it over there. Symmetry is the way things have to be. Symmetry is the way things have to be. Or say you're at a table and you have your forks and knives. Do you move them around till you get them just right? This is why you're talking to someone. Or you work in a nightclub and you notice that even though you try to seat everyone on one side of the room, they always spread themselves out evenly from this side to that, like atoms in a model. It's the way of the world, people do it everywhere. If you're gonna do it over here, then usually they do it over there. Symmetry is the way things have to be. 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 Or say you're in an air show and you're flying with two other pilots and you want to do it right, 'cause you like to do it right. The one guy's flying at the tip of your left wing and the other guy's off doing his own thing. Would it bother you? It bothers me. It's the way of the world, people do it everywhere. If you're gonna do it over here, then usually they do it over there. Symmetry is the way things have to be. 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 You can't chop down a symmetry. 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 Symmetry, 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 symmetry. Symmetry, 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 symmetry.
Oh,
Oh.
goodness.
Oh my God! Oh my glory!
Symmetry.
You can't cut down a symmetry.
I love that song so freaking much.
Yeah.
Kevin.
You know, I know
Get
you.
in the middle here.
I know that you know that I know that you know that you love that song.
What do we know today?
What do we
The
know?
theme for today is what do we know?
Yeah. What do we know? When did we know it? How long did we know it? Who knew it with us? And then how much of that did they know when we knew that they knew that they knew?
How do you know what you don't know?
When you know that you don't
When
know.
you know you don't know things.
That Donald Rumsfeld thing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
The unknown known.
So there's the known known, and then there's the unknown known. But
He
then
doesn't
there's
know what it is.
but then there's the
doesn't know how
unknown
it
known
goes.
that you don't know. And then there's the known that you do know that's unknown. And that's where we're at right now. You can't cut down the symmetry. Oh. Christina,
Yeah?
are blue lives a spectacle?
I mean, everything is a spectacle.
There's a neighbor in our neighborhood who has a sign that says, how do you want to get into it? Okay, so let's talk about something else that's a problem.
You don't, you don't want to get into it?
Well, I don't know. The whole like Blue Lives Matter thing. It's so fucking typical of the United States of America. You know, it's like Black Lives Matter. And then this other side can't just be
Blue
like,
Lives Matter.
yeah, it's like all lives matter.
I think just people don't understand power.
Yeah. They also don't understand when it's someone else's birthday.
Yeah.
No, it's not fair that it's your birthday. Like it's
I
my.
was born.
I was born. All of a sudden.
I have a day when I was born. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just so tiring to think about. And I always feel like I'm just, preaching to the choir.
Yeah, you are.
I am.
You are, and I'm glad.
I'm always going to the choir and preaching there.
Yeah. I mean, that's so. Just to assume that everybody in the choir is on board. There's probably people in the choir that just want to sing and they don't give a shit about Jesus Christ. This is what I was thinking. Real quick, let's jump off with this one. Remember this whole Salem witch trial in reverse?
Oh.
Yeah.
Topical.
So think about this. Think about if the Salem witch trials were actually to determine who wasn't a witch. And if you weren't a witch, then they would drown you. Mm-hmm. Because that's the way it should work. Like, witches have exceptional abilities, right? They're like exceptional
so you would
people.
Want, if anything, to help the witches create more witches.
Exactly. You'd want fewer non-witches.
A witch super breed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, who are these fucking people that they can't even do witchcraft?
Wouldn't you want witches on your side?
Totally. So
they just are mad because they were assholes to the witches,
Yeah.
They were like basically being your regular patriarchal dipshits to these women, and then the women were like, well, maybe we're witches.
Yeah. Maybe we'll steal your babies and make mayonnaise out of them.
Baby mayonnaise?
Yeah.
That sounds like a Frank Zappa song.
Baby mayonnaise. Baby mayonnaise.
Oh yeah. What? Oh yeah.
Trolls.
Oh yeah, trolls
in
the audience tonight. I don't know what to do about these trolls, Kevin.
You know what? I think the trolls are just crying out for help.
That's the thing, is like, I do want to make fun of you because what you're doing is so deeply pathetic.
Me?
You. I am the troll.
Oh, fuck. They're everywhere.
But it's also like, I don't want to engage. I don't want to like throw more gasoline on the fire of like this mental health crisis that someone clearly is going through.
Totally. Yeah, that's a tricky thing because it feels like it's easy to take it very personally when someone is trolling you.
Yeah.
And, make it about you.
Yeah.
Like, or
me,
or whatever.
Because they've made it about you.
They've made it about you, but like the reality is it's just displaced feelings, like displaced anger,
Yeah, totally.
So like if someone's like trolling you because they think that, or they are in this weird loop where they are like obsessed with you and like think that like you are thriving where they're not, and that like somehow you're thriving is an affront to their existence, and if only they could like destroy you, then they would get their lives back.
Yeah. But it's so funny because like a lot of times it could be someone who's just like, hey, I like what you're doing. Can I be a part of it or something? You know, instead of this like hateful, like it's just so weird that it manifests as negativity, the obsession.
Totally. Yeah, I mean,
sometimes people just back themselves into that corner.
I was thinking about that, yeah, because like I was thinking like, okay, what did you and I do yesterday? You know, like I was like obsessed.
I made 30 Twitter accounts, from which I commented on somebody I don't like, commented on their posting.
Yeah. And then
but what were you actually going to say?
Well, okay, well first let's go back to that because that's funny. Because like if you're going to make a Twitter account just to troll someone, but then you're not even going to bother to like upload an avatar image.
Your heart's not in the game.
Your heart's not in the game.
Yeah.
At least like go all the way with it and like put a little design.
Also, like, come at us with your true identity.
No, but that's not how it works.
Loser.
That's not how it works. That's not the rules of engagement.
But it's just so like pathetic and cowardly to come after someone from an anonymous account.
But the funny thing is like we know both of like our main trolls.
Well, I really want to play this game where it's like we read tweets or some of the crazy emails I get from our web stalkers, and then we have to guess which one of them it is.
Oh, between you and I?
Yeah.
No one else would be able to guess.
Yeah, you and I would.
Well, you have so many more than I do. I just have one, basically. Well, I guess.
But I get yours. They share us.
Yeah, they share us.
They share our misery.
We're part of a throuple with a lot of trolls.
Yeah.
Unwantingly. But, yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you get more trolls than I do. I feel like women probably get more trolls than men.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's just like, oh, this woman, who does she think she is? Living a life, being a human being.
Totally. I got an email from a troll recently that was like, it was like 1,000 emails, and every other one was like, you suck, and then the next one was like, I'm sorry, you don't suck. And then, like, but there was one where this guy was like, your new album isn't as good as your old album. It's like, show me your album.
Yeah. Show me your tits.
Show me your tits, and then we'll talk.
No, but I mean,
it's always like men who are like, I feel like men who've never even written a song think that they can write a better song than I can.
Yeah. Other people like, and their like relationship to music, other people's music, I think it's like so wild because it's like, yeah, that record didn't make me feel like your other one did, so therefore it's worse than the other one.
Yeah.
But I mean, in reality, like music, your relationship to music is just going to change. Like there are so many records that I didn't get when I was 18 that I totally love now. And
yeah,
you know what I mean? So if I would have written Joni Mitchell, you know, when I was 18 years old and be like, you haven't done anything good since Court and Spark, you know?
Shine is a piece of shit. I actually love Shine.
Yeah, Shine's fucking awesome.
But I
didn't
like Shine like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I didn't like, what's it called? Hajira? Is that the name of the...
Wow, yeah, Hajira.
Yeah, I didn't really like that one. I thought it sounded cheesy, but now I've grown to love it.
Yeah, there's lots of albums that I grow to love.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, your brain's just not in that place. And so I guess a lot of people just lack that self-awareness of like, oh yeah, I don't like this now, but I could potentially like it later. So
yeah.
But then, you know, here I am dissing Taylor Swift last week. And
low blow, especially considering she's a fellow indie artist.
She's an indie artist, and she had to go in isolation with a bunch of Grammy award-winning.
Did you see this thing where her like merch that she was selling was stolen from some like I think I might be making this up, but I think it was some like non-profit for like people in Africa called Folklore, and like the logo is just absolutely stolen.
Oh, she stole it from another graphic designer.
But like, yeah.
But they were like actually doing it to like raise money for.
I think I might be making that up, but that was like my quick scan of what was going on. But
Okay.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
It was like one of those headlines that you're like, really not going to invest the 5 minutes to like read this whole thing. But
Yeah, but then they instantly like pulled it all down, which to me means it is stolen, right? Like
oh
the
yeah.
thing that happened with Jenna, our friend who's a painter,
Oh yeah.
and she has this beautiful painting that Brockhampton stole for a cover of some single, and then she was like, "That's not cool," and they took it down and changed the artwork.
Yeah. Brockhampton sounds like a music festival that, or is it, would it be a music festival in the Hamptons, or would it be like...
Hold on. Someone in the chat is saying Taylor Swift has been dragged over the coals. Leave her alone.
Hmm.
Do you realize what has happened to the person who gave her an 8 on Pitchfork?
Oh yeah, they're getting death
He's
threats.
getting doxxed and death threats. You guys need to chill out.
Wait, did Pitchfork
It's
give
okay.
him? Pitchfork
She's
gave her an 8?
famous. Yeah, they gave her an 8.
Of course.
Yeah.
Such a fucking joke, man. I mean, of course they give her an 8. I'm shocked they didn't give her a 10. Like, what the fuck is wrong with them?
It's okay for you to like Taylor Swift. It's okay for us not to like Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I don't think that...
You realize that, right?
It's like saying
okay.
like Jeff Bezos has been dragged over the coals. Leave him alone. It's like, yeah, if you're that...
Isn't she worth like $30 million?
It's, you don't really have to worry about her emotional state. And like, I think it's fair. It's fair game. I mean, you know, people are fucking cruel to everybody, and we're not going to be cruel to the Aryan princess millionaire. Like, no, sorry.
You know what? I'm sure she's a fine millionaire.
People like her just because they think she might be a lesbian.
Really?
I'm just kidding.
That would make me like her less.
Because you're homophobic.
No, because like she should be cooler if that's the case.
Oh, right.
You know?
It's like the Ellen DeGeneres thing.
Yeah.
Or the
It's
RuPaul
like,
thing.
It kind of seems like she would actually pay the queer people that she uses as accessories.
Yeah.
If she were queer herself.
Yeah. If I ever found out that RuPaul was gay, I wouldn't be able
I
to.
don't know. I would like him way less.
Okay, we watched the Drag Race finale, right?
Well, All Stars.
All Stars, yeah. But that's old, right? That came out like weeks
think
ago.
it was new, no. But I don't know.
But that episode came out.
Yeah, maybe. I actually haven't been following
Okay.
Drag Race at all.
It was cool to
As you
hear.
know.
It was cool to hear the Janelle Monáe song in that.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Definitely. It's a great song.
Yeah. Speaking of women that we love, should we play another jammer?
Yeah.
So Christina made a really killer playlist, and we're gonna play another jammer from
Here we go.
her playlist.
Is my world not falling down? I'm in pieces on the ground, and my eyes aren't open, and I'm standing on my knees. But if crying and holding on and flying on the ground is wrong, then I'm sorry to let you down, but you're from my side of town, and I'll miss you. Turn me up or turn me down, turn me off or turn me round. I wish I could have met you in a place where we both belong. But if crying and holding on and flying on the ground is wrong, then I'm sorry to let you down, but you're from first child. Sometimes I feel like a king, but baby, since I have changed, I can't take nothing home. City lights at a country fair never shine but always glare. If I'm bright enough to see you, you're just too dark to care. But if crying and holding on and flying on the ground is wrong, then I'm sorry to let you down, but you're from my side of town and I miss you.
If you click on it, it doesn't stop. It just goes to the next krang.
Well, you could just pause it with the space.
My hand doesn't do that. You know I don't hit the space bar. What if I had just like some crazy affliction? I could hit all the other keys, but I just could not hit the space bar. It's too long and rectangular. It's so scary looking.
I'm space bar blind.
Yeah, I'm just like...
I think you and I have very different concepts of time.
Mm-hmm. You're the one that you let it go. Like, I was like, is this about to end? You're like, yep, it's ending. I was like, what?
But you know that song. I mean, you know when that song ends. Were you just not paying attention?
I thought you were going to do it. I wish we had like a little like
yeah, we need to like
MIDI thing that just like
this up
crank
so that I'm controlling. You know, we need to like break it up so you're controlling. This is important for everyone to hear about.
Yeah. Let's go through this right now. Can we talk about politics? Politics.
I hate it. My political views will make every person hate me.
No way. What do you mean? They don't make me hate you.
I know, but you're like more on my team. I'm just like so
Team Solar Baby.
I'm on Team Solar Baby, which means that I actually hate like neoliberalism more. And it's not because it bothers me more than like the conservative.
It's basically the same thing. It's like the only difference is one is like secret and duplicitous and one is just like totally in the open.
Totally.
That's kind of like what we were talking about. So we had this like crazy realization that like obviously fucking hate Donald Trump with a passion. I've thought more about his death than I've ever thought about anybody's death ever.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I fucking hate every single one of those dipshits.
Every single conservative is the worst fucking
at
worm.
least they're not trying to like steal our political movement from us and like dilute my own ideology by telling me that they're like actually accomplishing things that I want. Yeah. While they're like literally drone striking people,
creating cages.
Yeah. It's like same shit, different party.
Yeah, totally. It's like, oh yeah, Obama is president. Everything's fucking awesome now. We're post-race, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it's like, wait, nothing's really changing? Like Guantanamo Bay still exists. Like cages are being built for Mexican children. We're drone striking people for oil wars. Like, I was hoping for a little bit more of a progressive angle here. But so, I mean, that's kind of like the reality is that like, so you have a totally, I mean, not totally bogus, because I mean, there's like AOC, there's like people, there's Burn Dog, you know, there's people that are like closer to our political view, way closer to our political view on the left, or whatever would you even call it, the fucking Democratic side of things.
The actual left.
Yeah. But, and there's nobody with anything close to our ideology on the right. So of course,
Yeah.
like, yeah, we're gonna like veer more towards the people that are slightly
But
closer.
to me, that just means we're more vulnerable to being hypnotized by
Totally.
that shit.
Yeah, you can get totally
Which is
numb.
also, it's hard because like I do care about identity politics and stuff. Like I'm not one of those people who thinks all that stuff is just dumb, and like, but a part of me thinks that the way it's used is really dumb.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it's just like superficial.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, Target's gonna have like a gay pride
exactly.
month where they're just gonna sell some more shit. It's like,
Yeah,
that's
totally.
nothing. But yeah, I mean, it's like you see, like with Trump being just like completely overtly horrible.
I just hate saying his name in like our holy space.
Yeah, totally. But I mean, I think it's an interesting conversation to have where you just, like Glenn Greenwald was saying,
Yeah.
it's true that if you just vote blue no matter who, then you have no leverage as a lefty person, as like a socialist leaning person. If you're just
Yeah.
like, yeah, you don't have to like actually entertain any of our ideas. You can just like be the same like capitalist pig that you want to be
Yeah,
and still call yourself a Democrat.
totally.
Conversation to have where you just, like,
Oh,
oh no, saying, it's true that if you just vote blue no matter who, then you have no leverage as a lefty person. Shit. I was
don't
like,
do that.
no, that was me. Who was that?
No, that if you come into the Zoom, mute yourself.
Oh, okay. I was like, whoa, my mind just got blown. It's like, wait, is that me? How am I having this conversation with myself, Christina?
It's supposed to just mute everyone when they come
Mute,
in.
mute, mute.
Saboteurs.
I don't know.
Hey guys.
Nobody did it on purpose. Hey!
Hey!
Whoa, cool
You're
background.
here.
Oh, we
Let's-
got to go to the Zoom on the
Okay,
OBS
let's
screen.
do this.
We're going to do this.
Hey.
Hey.
Fix this a bit if I can't. Okay.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going? Can you see it? Oh, wait, you can't.
Oh, sorry, we're not even. Ah! Can you
Can
hear
you
us?
see and hear us?
Oh, yeah, we got to turn this off too. Ah, shit. We just got
We
jumped.
weren't prepared.
Yeah.
Wait, we can unmute. Will you unmute yourself?
Oh, you unmute yourself, darling.
There we go.
There
Am
we
I
go.
mute?
Yay!
Yay!
Hi.
Hi. Sup? Cool background.
So this is our beautiful guest, Boshra.
Hi guys.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm weirded out constantly, but good.
What's the last thing that weirded you out?
Buying a Baby Yoda toy for my nephew
Oh.
Oh. At Target?
at Target.
Oh.
Does it speak?
Well, Baby Yoda only warbles, I think.
Oh, really? Okay, we haven't watched The Mandalorian yet.
I'm normally not into it, but I'm with a bunch of children, so my sister's kid, so I'm just like a little kid right now.
Aw.
Lego Star Wars. It's nice.
Does Baby Yoda, is it a learning computer? Does it teach itself things?
It teaches itself and everyone else things.
Okay, cool. Have you
Wait,
seen
am
that?
I supposed to see you guys?
Oh, it's not working again?
Ah.
God damn it.
Knew it.
It
Yeah,
never,
You should.
for some stupid reason, this thing is just, we can never get the video aspect of
Let's
it to
try
work.
All right. I know how cute you both are, so I'll just think of
Aw.
that.
Well, if you look at the YouTube stream, there's a lag, so you can't listen to it, but you could see us if that helps. We thought we figured this out, but
Yeah.
we
Okay,
thought
I'm gonna
wrong.
Did it ever work for us? The video and the audio?
I think it worked one time.
There was one time with like the
Maybe
audio.
not both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever worked both ways.
Yeah.
I love your new album.
Yeah, I love it so much.
So much.
It's so
Cheers.
cool. You made some of the songs at my studio, right?
Holy, I did. I think 3 of them.
Is Chico Yearns about Chico, the cat?
Yes. And then it became various characters, and now it's like an Uber creature. Yeah, now it's like kind of occupation-y, occupy-y.
What do you mean?
But it started out with Chico.
What do you mean by it's kind of occupation-y?
Like a call to arms, sort of.
Okay.
But
Oh, like
before,
Occupy.
Yeah, like occupy, not like a vacation.
Yeah. So we were doing. Basha and I were doing a house swap thing where I was up in New York, and Basha came down to Athens, and we did.
Yeah, JoJo played on the songs. JoJo played sax.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I didn't realize that.
That's all JoJo on Chico Yearns.
Nice.
Talented guy.
Yeah, he's been impressing us with his beautiful saxophone ways lately.
Everyone in Up Montreal's becoming a saxophonist.
You guys should just do an only saxophone tour.
Oh yeah,
man.
That'd be fun.
So hard.
How does it feel to have this album coming out into the world?
It's good. It's weird. Like everything feels trivial now. And it felt trivial for a while, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna put this out, because I've had it for I've been making it forever, for like 10 years.
Uh-huh.
Oh wow.
But it feels, I have to say, it's kind of a relief not to worry about promotion and touring at all. Like, just put it in the world, and whatever happens, like, I can't be upset, you know?
That's good. So is it, I can't remember if it's self-released or not.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no.
So that's nice.
Where do people buy it if they want to buy it? Bandcamp?
Bandcamp. And my vinyl just got here, so it's going to be available, I think the next Bandcamp Friday I'm going to put it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's available on all the platforms and yada yada.
Cool.
Thank you for helping me promote it.
Yeah.
For real.
I love the music. I love the album artwork. Well, I've only seen the thumbnail of the album cover, but I'm excited to get the physical copy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool. I found this artist. She's Ethiopian via Quebec, or maybe Montreal.
The Zoom is
But
so crazy.
I can't find a company called Lost in the Fire. So if anyone knows where she is, Kaylin Michael is her name, and her work's beautiful.
She did the cover. The Zoom got kind of weird there, so I couldn't hear.
Yeah, she did the layout, like the design, and then my friend Alberto also took the photo.
Okay, it's so beautiful. The cover, yeah.
Yeah.
I asked for like a Hieronymus Bosch, like hellscape.
Yeah, I love the like cyborg face thing too.
Blinder.
Blinder. Yeah. You got to keep your blinders on to get through this life.
Yeah. I mean, that's when they come down and you're just like horrified. It's kind of the theme of the record. It's like disillusionment and horror.
I feel like we're all kind of living through, like, anyone who's been able to avoid it is not able to avoid it anymore at this point.
No, it's like a collective, endless cloudy day or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good things are coming out of it in weird ways, though. I mean,
like what?
I'm definitely more just like getting joy out of like really small things, you know? Like it's also relative.
Are you like having to go out for work? Are you working at home? Are you like in a situation where you're okay?
I'm okay. I mean, I usually do photo retouching to make it a money, but that's kind of dried. Everything's dried up, but I'm getting by, scraping by. Some stuff's come in, but yeah, I'm pretty quarantined. This is like as social as I've been.
Really?
Pardon my weirdness.
Are you like bubbling with your sister's family?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, she has 3. I'm just helping out because it's chaos.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. That's cool. Is there like a heightened level of anxiety having like small children to protect?
Well, everyone thinks that they're somehow immune, and I don't really believe that. But there's like a lax attitude about kids hanging out and playing and stuff, and they can't wear masks. They can't stand it.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It's all unknown and sketchy, and just like acclimated to constant feelings of sketchiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's fun. They definitely like get me out of my own head.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they're not worried about anything like that.
want to play with Yoda.
So would it be true to say then that you haven't been like too put out by the quarantine because were you planning on doing like a huge tour for this, or was your plan to just keep it pretty relaxed?
I mean, I don't know if I'm not that public about this, but I have a disability that has gotten worse. It's a form of muscular dystrophy. And like the last 2 years, touring is just really bad for my body. Like hours in the van takes me a long time to recover. So touring has been slowly phased out of my life.
Okay.
And so like it didn't mess me up that much, just mentally. But like physically, I haven't been restricted. And if anything, I just feel relieved that I can just release it by myself and not freak out about touring and promoting and like the zillions of jobs artists have besides making the music.
Yeah, totally.
So much. It's been kind of unexpectedly awesome not worrying about that stuff. And also awesome getting a response anyway, makes me think that like all the anxiety we have around that stuff is maybe ill-placed.
All the about all the marketing and like yeah
makes you think about your music in such a nasty way,
Totally.
Will so and so like it, or what will they say, or
yeah, it's interesting. Like if you're not somebody who's touring anyway, this time period actually like completely levels the playing field for a lot of musicians who are like can't afford to do that or just can't physically do that.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought about that really.
Like in a weird, totally like level playing field in a way where it's just about the music and people are hanging, right? Like I'm listening to stuff I normally wouldn't just because I'm in a house and I need to listen to stuff, It's nice. It's a good spin. It's my only, you got to put a positive spin on it. Otherwise you just lose your mind.
Yeah, totally.
What about you? Quarantined in Athens? Is it bad there?
I follow the daily reports, and you never know like how accurate they are, but they have been roughly around like 40 cases a day and maybe like 1 or 2 hospitalizations a day. But our death rate has been pretty low, luckily. So we have 16 deaths, I think, but I think like 15 of them were at like one nursing home or something crazy.
Oh, wow.
Which is obviously a tragedy.
Yeah.
But
that happened like a long time ago. That happened like months ago.
But
yeah,
people here don't really wear masks very much, like it depends where you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of like college kids that don't really give a shit about anything and don't wear masks, and then there's a lot of like conservatives that listen to Tucker Carlson tell them that they don't need to wear a mask. So there's a lot of that in Athens, and it gets worse like as you get outside of Athens when you get into like more rural, super red areas.
Yeah, Georgia's hot right now.
So hot. Yeah.
Well, it sucks because I remember thinking like, oh yeah, when the summertime, because like when our tour was canceled in late March, and it's like, yeah, well there'll probably be a dip in the summer, and then it might get bad again in the fall. But it's like, oh shit, it never really dipped. It dipped for like 10 seconds, and then it got bad again, and now it's just like bad forever.
Totally.
It feels like it's just gonna be bad forever, at least until there's like a vaccination for it.
Yeah, I mean, as long as people just absolutely don't care, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah. I feel like someone like major needs to die from it. I'm just gonna throw out, maybe Donald Trump. That might change if people. Maybe.
Not like I don't know. The tune is changing a little in the GOP, and to that, I feel like maybe we should wear masks now.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. Like I saw that one Texas senator that was like, he got COVID and he's like, I have to feel like maybe it's because I've been wearing a mask for the last like 7 or 8 days, so I kind of feel like that's the reason I got COVID. Like they think they get it from masks somehow.
So insane.
Yeah, because
Do you know that I'm studying to be a scientist next semester?
Oh no, you went back to school?
Yeah, worked out kind of well. Like I've been thinking about it for like 10 years, and I read about Kim Deal, who is one of my heroes.
Oh yeah.
And she studied cellular biology, and I was like, you too? You want to know too? And yeah, it's all online, but
That's
I'm going
awesome.
full. I'm so excited.
What
I'm so
kind of
excited
science are you studying?
I think I'm going to end up in microbiology. But I don't know. I'm just starting at late in life.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's going to inform everything I do, like whether it's music or art or whatever. I'm just excited to get into non-subjective data.
That's great.
Yeah.
To get those.
That must be like actually it's like one of the few things that is entirely apolitical.
Yeah, except in the US where like science is
true.
Poor Fauci. I feel for that guy.
Yeah.
He's on a tightrope of like not pissing off the powers that be, but like telling people the truth.
Yeah.
Which is not to hear the truth, but
I love his face when he's trying not to say the thing he wants to say.
Yeah. It's kind of a nightmare, actually.
It's nuts.
So does studying science mean that you're going to be making less music, or do you plan to do both at the same time?
I think I'm thinking that it's just going to kind of change the way I make music or like inform it somehow. Yeah. I don't think I'm ever going to. I think I just need to have it occupy a different place in my brain.
I think that's cool. Yeah.
Forever, you know, it's so hard to be an independent artist. It got to me.
The whole process of like trying to hustle.
Yeah, and like selling yourself in these terms that I don't know. It's just it's like a constant compromise of integrity and like
totally
what you want to say. And I don't want it to sound like I've given up. I feel like I've just rewired my circuit so that I don't get upset when things don't work out the way I want them to. But of course, the moment I do that, like with this record, I stopped caring, and I'm getting like really great responses.
That's great.
Surprising me and making me really happy.
Do you feel like that hustle that you were more bothered by before, was that like affecting your creative process?
Totally. Like it made it so that I didn't release anything for 10 years.
Wow.
Even though I was recording that whole time, and I was with other bands, so I didn't have time necessarily, but I think it was one of the things that prevented me from putting my music out in the world. Just like not wanting to deal, you know?
Totally.
Being in the safety zone of other bands and with other people dealing with that stuff and just like having a great time being a sideman.
How did you overcome all of that? Because it can feel so overwhelming and like you just want to stay away from it forever. So like, how did you get from there to here?
Like wanting to release music?
Yeah.
I think the pandemic, the pandemic like quarantined me, and I was like, what the hell? Okay, I guess I'll put this out now.
Okay, so you were kind of like sitting on it, and then the quarantine happened, and you were like, this is a good time. Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
And then BLM happened, and then it was like this. I've had this conversation with a lot of fellow New York musicians of like, do we want to take up bandwidth on our own material at this particular moment? And it's like it's a complicated question because there's only so much space for discourse, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like I waited a little bit until it didn't feel like I was crowding the stage in my own stupid little way, you know?
Yeah. I mean, don't you feel like, I don't know if I'm right about this, but I feel like people also do need things that are not necessarily, like music is inherently political in so many ways. So you can't call it apolitical, but like music is also a really great escape and like an energizing tool for when you're like politically motivated.
Totally.
Yeah. I feel like it actually is important to people.
I started thinking of it in those terms, and like, it's hard not to like self-flagellate a little bit. And I mean, I'm a woman and a person of color, but I still feel a certain amount of guilt taking any light away from the conversation that's happening right now.
Yeah.
But then I listened, I looked back at my record and was like, well, this is part of the discourse too. And I was able to reconcile that and just put it out. And like, who cares? No one cares that much anyway. So why am I like
I'm glad you did. It's been so nice to have it. I listen to it while I'm roller skating.
Oh, my niece really wants to roller skate, and I can't find any good skates.
I know, it's hard. So hard to find.
There's a shortage of roller skates now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Target only had some really ugly.
I'm surprised they had any at Target.
Yeah, I think it's making a comeback or something.
Yeah, well, Christina's gotten like super into it. It's been her like obsession since she wanted to replace the pandemic obsession in her brain with something more positive. So she's become like super obsessed with roller skating and getting into like the drama of independent roller skating companies and just all this shit that's happening. And it's kind of like, it's cool to see this like alternate reality where people like are passionate about roller skating.
I also just I like it so much because it's something that I'm not good at, and I don't have any, there's like no ego in it for me. It's like I just suck at it, and all I can do is get better. So like I'll be watching instructional videos and like falling on my ass all day, but it feels good to like be getting good at something.
Yeah, and to get knocked down.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But I actually tried roller skating. I got all excited because Christina bought me some skates, and I instantly like put them on with no pads or anything.
Oh, I this. You hurt yourself.
Yeah, I hurt myself. I scratched my hand and I messed up.
Healed.
Yeah. I couldn't play guitar for like 2 weeks. But I think it was just like the pandemic mania, you know, just like, and just like, I'm going to do this thing. And there's like instantly crashing and like,
We've become pretty manic.
But
I used to roller skate in a garage and the neighbors down the street in circles all day.
That's so nice.
Into Eye of the Tiger. Do you remember
that? Oh yeah, of course.
How could I forget?
So did you spend much time in Syria as a child?
Yeah, I did. Up until the Civil War or whatever international proxy war.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to go for like the whole summer every year. I miss it. And then when I went to art school and did all of my projects were done there. Like I did a lot of photography there.
That's so cool.
And went there with my film camera.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I miss it. Actually, a lot of my family is here now. Managed to get out.
Oh, okay, cool. But you said they were sort of like in a safe area or safer area?
It was safe for a while, and then it kind of, it's so complicated over there. It's like Russia and Iran and the United States, and then the rebels or the revolutionaries, and then the regime. So there's just a lot. It definitely came to my village. There was a little period where some hooligans were taking advantage of the general chaos and like just kidnapping people for ransom.
Jesus.
Not even with any, just doing it because they could and they're desperate for money. And none of them were even Syrian. Like it's just been overrun with all of these other parties with other interests. So I want to go back when it's not crazy anymore because I don't think I could take it if I went back now. I think it's like a different country than what I knew growing up.
Oh, that must be so psychologically difficult to know how much it's changed and not be able to be home.
No, it's depressing. I feel like both of my countries are not in a good way at the moment.
Yeah.
And like it's similar, I don't know, here it's not as overt, but I feel like similar shit's going down, you know?
Yes.
Well, anytime there's a crisis, people grab for power, and you know, sometimes they're the people who are already in power and sometimes they're just opportunists, but crises like spiral down so quickly.
Totally.
Yeah, especially at the moment. Feels like relentless layers and layers of shit.
Totally.
But I'm excited for whatever renaissance happens next. We have the only way to go, honestly. Is
I think there's a lot further down we can go. But then we just all moved to Toronto.
Yeah, what's your other country of choice?
I mean,
What's your-
Canada's the closest faraway place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard. It's very hard to leave the United States.
I don't think it's actually
Well-
possible to leave the United States.
But I'd like to.
I think New York's gonna be a different city in like a year. I think there's gonna be a renaissance. Everyone's leaving right now. Everyone's moving upstate.
I know. It's so funny, like, seeing all the people who moved to New York around the same time I did, like, you know, college and high school people. And now they're just going right back to
Does that mean like real estate will be affordable again?
Maybe there's like been a little bit of a slight dip. So come to New York, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we can finally afford to move to New York.
Yeah. Once it's a zombie apocalypse, then get a nice place in Greenpoint.
Yeah.
Well, what are you guys doing? Are you working on music? Are you like, I haven't written or played anything. Like I haven't been able to. But do you feel connected to that at all?
It was really hard for me in the beginning of the quarantine. I really wasn't feeling inspired at all. And just like the sheer terror that was running through every fiber of my being was making it hard. But it's gotten better now. I'm just kind of like forcing myself to work a little bit every day on something.
That's good.
Yeah, I kind of just powered through. I kind of just like, right when we got home from tour, I was like, I need to be in my studio right now. Because that's like my great like escape. It's, you know, my escapism.
I mean, it's an amazing place.
Yeah, escapism therapy. Just to kind of come in the studio and lose track of time and space and politics and whatever, and
It's just
make
so
some
hard,
stuff.
like, because exactly what Boshra was saying, where I was questioning, like, who needs to hear my voice right now? You know, like, what? It just feels like, what do I have to offer?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, you have to like trick yourself. Like whenever I work, I never think like, oh, this is going to be heard by anyone. You know, so that's why I never have that sort of question in my
Yeah.
head of like, should I be doing this? It's
Totally.
like, I'm just doing this for myself, 100% for myself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. How did you get there?
Well, I guess I just, I love it. I've always loved it. Like since I was a teenager and, you know, 4-tracking in my parents' house and stuff, like that was the same thing. Just escaping from a reality that was painful into a reality that was more exciting and
Yeah.
glamorous. And
I think it connects too to what you were saying about just the whole hustle being so discouraging and gross feeling. Because
Yeah.
it kind of trains you to think about what you're making as a product and like, this is for people, so it needs to mean something.
Yeah. It's this really gross self-consciousness. It's like the enemy
Yeah.
of every creative person, you know?
Yeah, totally.
but it's just like capitalism rearing its ugly head, you know?
Yeah,
because
you just have to unbrainwash yourself.
yeah, because if you didn't have to think about like, oh, is this gonna actually help me live the life I want to live or whatever, like financially, is this gonna help me economically, or is this actually just gonna make me lose $10,000? You know, it's like, yeah, you're probably gonna lose $10,000, but at the same time, it's gonna help you in other ways, you know.
Yeah.
But I wish that, yeah, if we had a more art-friendly environment, society, that like we would actually be encouraged to just make really gratifying work.
Yeah.
You know, that like we wouldn't feel like, oh, we need to make something that has a funky beat to it or whatever. Like not worrying about that shit at all and just making like crazy ass music, and it doesn't matter if people like it or don't like it. But the funny thing is, like, I feel like the more wild you get with your work, the more people are likely to get into it. Like, because I feel like we're sort of like, almost in a way, like, brainwashed into thinking that, oh yeah, people are boring, so we need to make kind of more like accessible music and like make like conservative choices when we're making creative choices.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, like, the more out there you get, the more likely it is for people to like, to, you know, kind of like have their ears sort of tweaked, like, oh, what the hell is this? This is crazy, you know? So like every single artistic decision you make that is like a eyebrow raising decision, I was like, oh, that's the good one then. And everyone that makes your eyebrows stay in the same place is a bad one. Exactly, you got it. Raise those eyebrows, baby. Raise those eyebrows now.
Actually, my old bandmate from Jonka Nabe and the Boo Boo Gang just put out, he's a ethnomusicologist.
Oh, cool.
He just put out an article that he's been working on for years about how that band and Jonka's music, which is, for those of you guys who don't know, it's music from Sierra Leone. And Jonka, who's since passed, was like a super charismatic guy who started this thing called Boo Boo music, which is an ancient tradition in Sierra Leone. Came here, we signed on to David Byrne's label. All this stuff was happening, but somehow, like, this paper is about Jonka's life and how he came here and like left everything to make music and that no one here had ever heard. But like all along the way till the day he died, it was like relentless struggle, never enough money, never enough support, and like it's called World Music 2.0 without profit, I think, or World Music without profit.
That's the name of the article?
Yeah, I think something like that.
That sounds awesome.
It's a very academic paper, very well written, but it's all about like what we're talking about, how like capitalism can hinder, just the structures in place can hinder creativity, and also even just like disseminating music.
Yeah.
Getting it out there, especially when you're dealing with, like with Jonka, he didn't have papers, you know, he didn't have money, he didn't have health insurance. He was here for 13 years and never got legal, but he was like this indie darling, you know, and he was totally, the Times and the Washington Post wrote obituaries about him when he died. So like clearly he made this impact and has this legacy, but you know, he died penniless, and like our band never really, it was just so impossible. And we used to always fight about this stuff. He would be like, he would make fun of indie artists for like not valuing their labor enough.
Their own labor.
Yeah, like their own product, if you will.
Totally.
Like, what's wrong with you? Why are you playing 12 shows at South by Southwest for free? How can you play all these shows for free? Are you crazy? Like, I should get paid for that interview.
Totally.
No, theater is not going to pay you to talk to them, even though maybe they should.
Yeah, they absolutely should.
Yeah, totally.
There's artists have been devalued to such an extreme. Music has been devalued to such an extreme. It's like no other industry would there be like a thing like Spotify, where it's like, oh yeah, the person who created the product gets less than a fraction of a penny, but then this other asshole billionaire gets all of the money.
I also can't tell you like how many interviews I've done where the questions are like, how are you? You know, just like, what is your name? What is the name of your album? And it's like, I am literally being forced to make this interesting.
Yeah.
To generate content for you.
Yeah.
What's it like being a girl in music? Classic, like, creative question.
Yeah, totally. And, I totally like devalue my own work all the time. Like we were just talking about that, how like it's so hard to even remember that what I do is valuable just because nobody else will tell you. Like you just have to know.
Well, when you own that, people do respond. Like that's something I learned from John, because I was always arguing with him like, dude, we have to do this. We have to play 12 shows in 4 days in Austin for free. Because that's what we got to do to like progress. And it did help us for sure. But when he put his foot down 2 years into the project and was like, I'm not playing for less than $1,000 a show. And then sure enough, guess what? Like people were like, okay, like if you put that value on yourself, then I have no choice but to put that value on you too, you know?
Totally.
And I was, shit, man, you were right. Like I stand corrected.
Yeah, totally. How do you feel? This reminds me of the current conversation right now around Spotify.
Yeah.
And like, we're all on Spotify, and I definitely have conflicted feelings about that. But like, do you pull all your stuff off of Spotify and protest for that shit? But it's also like, it doesn't matter if the top artists on there aren't doing it. too.
I feel like if touring is over, then Spotify is over. Because the only like good thing you could say about Spotify is that like when you go on tour, then people might, it just makes it easier for them maybe to like, oh, this band of Montreal is coming through town. Maybe I've never heard their music before or whatever. So I'll go to like the music streaming platform that I use to check them out. But you don't get any money from them checking you out. And the only thing you might possibly get out of it is if they come to the show, you know?
Right.
But if you're not playing shows anymore, then there's absolutely no reason to just give your music away for free.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I was on the fence about it, and then I decided to, like, at this point, if I'm just resigned to like not making any money, so sad, and maybe like just disseminating the music is enough, you know?
I know, that's kind of how I feel too. It's like, I'm not really going to make money if I take it down.
Well, yeah, you're not, but you are like preventing some other piece of shit from like destroying the industry by...
I know, but that most people listen to music through Spotify. So it's like this Sisyphean... I don't know.
Yeah, like what are my choices here? Nobody listens to me. People listen to me, and I'm helping someone exploit me.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
I wish that we were a little bit more united as artists, as a front, and that we had like, you know, a artists union.
Yeah, totally.
Actually worked.
Yeah.
I've talked to the teen girls a lot about starting our own collective, a la Elephant Six or something, like getting a community, because we have a really rich community in New York, but it's, at the moment at least, it's not like congealed into like it's a union of sorts, you know, or some way to have an aesthetic under one umbrella where like people can be like, oh, I know I'm going to get this thing when I go to this collective.
Yeah. And it also gives you some leverage, like some cultural leverage, and like, because they will just like suck you dry.
Yeah.
If you're not like asserting your value, your cultural value.
Yeah, you have to be like a bulldozer about it. And especially, that's what managers used to do for artists. Just like let the artists do their thing. But now you have to be this advocate, fighter.
Yeah, who can afford a manager?
I've never had a manager. I've never really understood. Like,
really? You've done it all yourself?
Yeah, I've never ever had one. I mean, I have a booking agent, and then, you know, I've had record labels, and the record labels have like PR people, or they'll hire a PR person. So I never was like, why would I have another person that I just pay 10% of whatever measly amount of money that I make to like do it, just like answer a phone or like respond to an email? Like I can do all that shit myself.
That's impressive though, because I mean, it's a lot to siphon, to be the point person for your own project, especially when that project is like as big as of Montreal. I imagine that's like a lot of filtration for you.
No, it's nothing really. It's absolutely nothing. Like I do almost nothing. I mean, like the only thing that I really do now is like the Patreon thing is like my obsession, and like trying to build that up more, you know, and that's fun. But then as far as like, I never would like pursue an interview with somebody like, oh, I really want some fucking nobody, know nothing asshole to like ask me some questions about my record. At this point, you know, because I've done so many just stupid, meaningless interviews that I just don't believe in it anymore, and I don't care, and I don't want to answer any questions. So like, but it's a bit different, you know, like from like when I first started out. I definitely would have been way more gung-ho about just playing every show that was offered and doing every interview that was offered, and like any opportunity that was offered, I would take it. But now I'm just like, fuck it.
Yeah. Position of power, man.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like now I'm like, whatever, like more established, way more established than I was when I first started. So there was like maybe like 7 or 8 years where like nobody gave a shit about us, you know? So at that point I was definitely feeling like, oh, I should be taking like every opportunity and like playing those 12 South by Southwest shows that I don't get paid for, and like going up to New York for CMJ Fest, and like, oh yeah, you're not going to get paid, but you will play Arlene's Grocery in between like 30 other bands.
Yeah. I mean, it is hard because if you don't do it at all, you might just like float off into the ether.
Yeah.
Kiss music into the wind.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like hard to say, you know, like it's such a grind, but it's better to like actually like put in the effort and hope for the best than just be like defeatist about it and be like, fuck it, it's never going to happen.
Better to have ground than never to have ground at all.
Yes. Yeah, at least you can say, you know, like, hey, I tried my best.
So can I ask you guys some questions?
Yeah, of course.
Christina, I love your record.
Oh,
so
thank
much.
you so much.
Like, scratches all my itches, and I was just wondering, like, when you guys made it, how you made it, did you do it all at the house and at the, like, what was the process? Because like, it's so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, we did it all here. It took a really long time. I would write the songs on the guitar in my little office room and then bring them in here, and we would just kind of arrange it together. Kevin did a lot of the heavy lifting of arranging.
I don't know. I think we shared the heavy lifting of the arranging.
Okay, we shared the heavy lifting.
But Christina would cry before every session. That was like the number one thing.
Well, because I don't know my value, so I hate everything I do.
Yeah, so she would present this fucking amazing, brilliant song and then be like, you don't like it, do you? It's not even a good song. I don't even know, why are we even bothering with this song? It's a stupid song. Just forget it. It's not going to happen. You know, I was like, are you joking? The song's fucking amazing.
Well, we also realized that, like, you're a little bit more subdued with your appreciation of it.
Oh, yeah. So I'd be like, oh, yeah, this song's awesome. Okay, let's go. And then she was like, oh, so you don't really like it?
Whereas, like, I want somebody's, like, world to change when they hear like, a song I wrote. I think we all have that.
Yeah. Well, in this case, like, you were kind of producing, right?
Yeah, I'd say co-producing just because most of the stuff
together.
Yeah, we're producing it together. So a lot of the stuff, it was like Christina would have like some idea, or like maybe I would come up with like the direction that we should take with it, and then she would be like, okay, cool, and that's like the jumping off point, and then we'd both be like contributing different ideas for different sections of the songs and whatever.
But then sometimes I would have like a very specific idea, like a very specific inspiration reference point for it.
Yeah, sometimes like she would just like have a guitar part, like we just laid on the guitar and the vocal, and then she was working this like crazy full-time job when we were making the record, so like she would like come home from work at like 7 o'clock or something, and like we would be like, fuck, we just had to like lay down the groundwork for the song, and then she would have to wake up super early in the morning and I'd be working on it while she was at work. And so sometimes that had like good results and sometimes that had bad results, whereas like she'd come home and I had spent like 6 hours working on the song and she's like, oh, I don't like this at all. And so we'd get in these like couples fights about it, like, what do you mean? I've been working 6 hours on this thing. I made this like 12-part guitar harmony thing, and
well, I don't like it.
Well, I don't like it. But then most of the time it did work out where like she was like, this sounds really cool, and got into. I feel like there was like a turning point, because I feel like for a little bit you were like so hypercritical of everything, and then
I think like working so much, I felt just really powerless in the process, and like, because that was towards the end when we were mixing it too, and I had never really mixed an album before, so the powerlessness of like not really knowing how to make it sound the way I wanted it to sound was really, really frustrating.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because it didn't seem like you really had the language for like what you were trying to articulate, because it's like, I don't know what's wrong with the vocals, I just know they're wrong.
Yeah, but then we figured it out.
Yeah, then we figured it out.
Yeah.
It was kind of painful, but then we figured it out.
Yeah.
And then it was just like smooth sailing. After we like kind of got over that hump, then it was like everything I did that I felt good about, you also felt good about.
If there were a lot of... go ahead.
Like established like in a vibe at some point or something. Like there's a very specific vibe.
That's great.
Like, I don't, a lot of like the late 70s New York music that I love, but all the others, it just feels like you found something that worked and just kept doing it.
Thank you. I love to hear that.
If we ever can tour again, it'd be fun. It'd be fun if we could do a show together in New York or something.
There.
Was Saadi your first recorded, self-produced, that's amazing. It sounds so professional and beautiful, and the mixing is so interesting.
I produced it with this guy named Matt Chiaravelli, who he produced me when I was 21.
Wow.
Back then, like after I left a band I was with, and he has this way with female vocals that I could never find again. And I was like, why don't I just work with Maddie again? Like, why? So I contacted him like 4 years ago, and I had all this music that I had recorded and for the most part engineered myself. And then we did a few sessions where he's a great engineer also. And I got Parker Kindred to play drums, who's incredible. He plays with Jonas Policewoman. One of my favorite. He's the drummer I always call when I'm producing somebody. And like, I want his aesthetic on every record I make because he's really tasteful. But so we worked with him, and then we mixed it together, and it was, I imagine how it is with you guys, where like at a certain point you have the vocabulary that you both agree on, like you both know what you think is good, and then it's so much easier at that point too. And we were at that point, and yeah, it's one of those rare occasions where I like love something I did or the way it sounds, you know.
That's
I usually
so
have
cool.
yeah, I think it's just, again, especially as a woman, like a lot of men try to kind of like mold you or tell you what's good.
Yeah.
And it took me honestly into my mid 30s to be like, oh, I think I know what's good for my.
I know. I'm going through this right now too, because, you know, I've only done like lo-fi recordings on my own before, just like on a little 8-track cassette recorder. And now I'm trying to record the whole next album on my own and produce it and like engineer it with Kevin playing bass and stuff. But he helped me get the right tools, and I'm like listening back to what I'm doing, and I'm like, this sounds like a real album, and I can't believe it.
It's trusting yourself, right? Because
Totally.
you're deciding how it sounds.
Totally.
Whispering in your ear and like making you second guess your own instincts.
Totally. I feel like we're kind of trained as women not to trust ourselves, and especially with technical things like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I always wonder, because it seems like it's way more common for men to get super into Ableton and Logic and Pro Tools and things like that, and it's like, obviously there's a lot of female engineers as well, but there's seemingly like way more men.
Yeah, I think women feel discouraged from entering that world.
I think that's been slowly changing, very slowly changing, but it is changing.
There's
especially with mastering world. It's it started out. Do you guys know the Lodge mastering? Emily Lazar.
I don't think so.
In the 90s, and one of the first women to do it. And then she trained some women who then trained, and it became this kind of domino effect of like powerful women mastering engineers. And like the woman who mastered my record, Heba Kadri, is like a powerhouse in her own right, and like does all the coolest records. And I'm so happy that she agreed to work with me. But it's changing. Like you are seeing more women in like the more technical aspects. But this was another thing we talked about with teen all the time. Like, we need to like maybe be proactive and try to find women producers and women engineers. You know, like seek it out, because that's gonna in turn make it a more rich playing field and set an example. You know, like give other art people a chance to shine that aren't just like white dudes. Nothing against white dudes in studios, but there are other paths.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason that just being afraid that you can't do it should hold you back from trying, and that's just really what needs to change for people's brains.
Totally. Well,
this
you're doing it all yourself. It's cool.
I can't hear you. It sounds like something happened with your mic, maybe.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool because Christina's been getting into drum programming for the first time as well.
Yeah.
Not so much programming, but
Well,
I've just been like sampling stuff and, you know, like stretching it to
well, even like chopping
the
up.
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, chopping things up.
Yeah, getting loops to fit.
Yeah.
Because Christina's songs have like really strange time signatures a lot of times, so you can't just like pull in like a 2-bar.
Yeah, so the programming was always really hard for me just because I naturally don't really write on a normal grid. But I'm finally figuring out how to like hear rhythms better, and
Yeah.
it's helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, making beats is really fun.
Yeah. Well, it's cool because Christina has like a home studio or a little studio, like kind of like where she's working on her record and stuff, that is downstairs. You know, our house was like the downstairs is kind of like the chill out sleeping zone or whatever.
Yeah. Is that the room with the big tapestry of like James Baldwin and Nina Simone?
So like downstairs is more like the Almodovar room.
Yeah. It's this little office that's like right off of our bedroom that I think was just kind of like a junk room.
Yeah, it's kind of like a junk room when you were
Yeah.
staying at the house probably.
Yeah.
But we turned that into a studio space for her. So it's cool, like, but just the way the sound travels through the house, because like most of the living happens on the second floor. So like just hearing Christina work on music through the floor is like such a inspiring sound.
Aw, thank you.
Moving around,
Yeah.
your chords move around. You got like a frenetic chord change thing.
Oh,
Going.
thank you. I think we all share that, maybe.
Yeah. Chords want to be moving.
Yeah.
They're like sharks.
Yeah, totally. I don't want my sharks to die.
My niece is learning the ukulele right now, so I've been playing ukulele. It's the only thing I've been. But The Lime and the Coconut by Harry Nilsson.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
C7
Really?
time. She was so pumped. Like, it's only one chord. I can play a song.
Aw.
That's amazing. I want to write a one-chord song.
Yeah.
That's like, you are the best songwriter if you can write a one-chord song and make it good.
Maybe that should be a goal. Maybe we should try, all of us should try to write a one-chord song.
That's a good challenge.
Yeah.
Going down.
Turn off your mind, relax, and float down. You just have to do like sort of like an Indian melody line. Yeah.
Yeah, use those as Prince calls it, Egyptian scales.
I think that's the Hijaz scale.
What-
Made famous by the Offspring. You got to keep them separated. Yeah.
Are you a big Offspring fan?
No. But I remember like wanting to use that scale in a teen song when we were writing a few years ago. And Teeny was like, that sounds like the Offspring. Keep them separated. You can't let them ruin this scale for you. This
No.
is the scale. She's like, I can't help it. I'm just thinking of that damn song.
Are you like musically trained, or are you self-taught?
I'm self-taught. I studied piano for a while, but I could never get music theory. It's weird because I'm very good at math, but I'm very bad at music theory. Like
It just doesn't stick.
Yeah, it's like it gets very confusing to me. Like,
I'm the same exact way.
so I'm trained just enough to kind of know what I'm doing, but I'm not like the people that I ask to come to sessions are way more trained than I am.
Yeah, same. I always have to work with musicians who are better than me and know more than I do.
I'm not trained. I always pee on the files.
He leaves his wee-wee pads everywhere.
I always think about that whenever I hear someone say, like, are you musically trained or like trained?
Are you trained?
Yeah. I have been
I'm
trained
not trained.
to make all of the proper decisions. Fuck being trained.
Well, I think that this has been great. We have a challenge
thank you.
to
Yeah,
each other to write a one-chord song.
Yeah.
I have a goal. I have a musical goal. This hasn't happened all quarantine.
Yeah. So we'll meet back here in
Yeah.
a couple months. And
In an hour.
Each play our one-chord songs. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to play some more music. Thank you so much for
Yeah, so good to see
hanging
your
out
beautiful
with us.
face and
Yeah.
talk to you.
And see your actual faces.
Yeah.
I hope people continue to love and appreciate your beautiful music.
Yeah.
Thank you for supporting me, for real. It means so much.
All right. Peace.
All right. Bye.
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 Sorry.
Let's play her song.
Okay, cool.
If I could sing a million words, a million melodies, could never sing a sweeter song as you were to me. And I know you'll always be still as sweet in memory to me. When have you it was love when you gave in. Car, the bedroom was the car. We reached out for the stars on the wings of a guitar. God bless older ladies, for they made rock and roll. I said, God bless older ladies, for they made rock and roll. I recall a time Rothschild made the wine, Byron made the lines. White, the sheets were snowy white, in scented candlelight, we loved away the night. God bless older ladies, for they made rock and roll. I said, God bless older ladies, for they made rock and roll.
Absolute on power drive, I need you so to keep me alive. Absolute, I long for you, a girl to make a dream come true. Oh baby, understand.
с вами познакомиться. Я очень рад с вами познакомиться. Спасибо. Спасибо.
Thank you very much.
Большое спасибо. Большое спасибо.
Bongwater got panned in Rolling Stone and they compared me to Barbara Streisand. Oh, God, that is the cruelest cut of them all. Or, wait a minute, maybe that's good. Brad says it's not fair, he's trying to calm my jangled nerves, but I have to say that they accompanied the review with this really cool illustrations, this map of the USA tracing our route to New York City and citing all our musical influences along the way. It was really a veritable pop cultural smorgasbord, done in the style of those old 60s movie posters like It's a Mad, 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 Mad World and Casino Royale. But I'm still not sure if it was a pan. I mean, the writing was so convoluted and semiotic, it was more like something you'd read in Art Forum or October magazine, but I can't tell. I think the bloom is off the rose now. Why in the hell do I let Kramer do whatever the hell he wants? I mean, you sure can't argue with him. He doesn't care, but damn it, these things bother me. So I decided to go watch the crash cars at the demo derby. Then Brad helps hatch a plan. He said, we'll go back east and you can milk my cow for me. And I said, cow? What cow? Oh, then I remembered that he did have a cow back east. Oh, God, I don't want to get on one of those dilapidated DC-10s and go back east. But I guess I have to prove that I love it. But again?
Bongwater.
I had to fade out our Scritty Polity because we got threatened.
busted, man.
We got busted by the feds.
Yeah,
They're
how does that
gonna
make any
shut us
sense?
down.
Because
I'll shut you down.
You shut me down, I quit. You can't shut me down. How is it that you could play a song that lives on YouTube, on your YouTube stream, and then get shut down for playing that song? It's like, what the F, man? I don't get it at all. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Totally, right?
Totally.
Oh my God.
I think that we should zoom out.
I want to ask you a quick question, Christina.
Okay.
If there's a movie, any kind of movie, horror, thriller, any kind of movie, horror, thriller, any kind of movie,
Horror, thriller.
that you find the most terrifying as far as like, ooh, if I was the character in that movie, you know, that would be like the most extreme horror thriller experience.
What?
Like, say,
If I was the character?
yeah, like if you were a character in like a horror or thriller movie, like any kind of movie, like
Any
a
kind of
horror thriller, and you were the character in the movie, would you feel like what horror thriller movie would you feel like any kind of movie, like horror thriller movie, like what kind of movie?
I feel like the FBI have captured me. Interrogating me.
Like any kind of movie, like
I didn't do it.
no, but like in all honesty,
Stop.
if
What
you
is the real question?
the real question is like, okay, like any kind of horror thriller movie that
It's crazy how that actually works and just like completely destabilizing my brain. I'm just like, oh yeah. It's like getting waterboarded.
oh my God. Okay, speaking of waterboarding, Search Party.
It's not like getting waterboarded.
No,
That's
not
much
at all.
worse.
So, Search Party, starring John Early,
Oh yeah, our favorite TV show.
our favorite TV show at the moment. We watched every single episode from start to finish. We completed all of the episodes from the beginning to the end, from start to finish. What if I just kept like doing that? Yeah.
I'm just glazing over it right now because I can't interact with it.
No, but John Early's character is my fashion icon right now. Like
Oh yeah,
the clothes
totally.
that he wore.
I love his like matching sweatsuits.
Yeah, I love that. I love
I'm
when he
like-
starts going insane and he starts like wearing like these like really, really wild.
I love the like total lampooning of like Brooklyn gay fashion of
Yeah.
like the like wire frame hat over the like white boy do-rag and like the matching. So funny.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's a genius.
He's a genius. his, what was that crazy thing, like the 72 questions thing or whatever?
Oh yeah, the new video he just put out.
It's so good.
My favorite part of which is when he's like, they're like, oh, what's your favorite thing you've worked on? And he's like, probably my comedy special with Kate Berlin, which hasn't been picked up by anyone while rapists continue to be able to make content.
It's insane that no one's picked that up. Like, what the
I
fuck?
know.
They're both geniuses.
Totally.
They're both amazing.
Totally.
Totally. Sometimes, you just gotta shake your head. I don't get it.
I'm gonna shake my head later about it.
Yeah, do that.
I don't want to do it now because it
It's
might
embarrassing.
scare people.
Yeah. But, okay, the second favorite show is Love on the Spectrum.
Oh yeah.
That
I
show
love
makes
that
me
show.
cry. It's so...
Yeah, we were just crying and holding each other the whole time.
But in a funny way, I feel like it's made me appreciate you and like in like a different way, because like the people on the show are just looking for love and they're like so open.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel so blessed that I found you
Aww,
and that you're my sweet,
sweet
sweet love.
I feel the same way.
Because I feel like one of those people in a lot of ways. Like I feel like I'm on the spectrum and that like I shouldn't be allowed to have someone like you in my life.
Aww. You're definitely allowed.
But like it doesn't make any sense that like Michael or Philip or what's the girl's name, that like super cute bouncy girl?
I can't remember.
Chloe, maybe.
Yeah, Chloe. Chloe's so cute.
Yeah, like those people. It's just like they're so fucking precious and beautiful and wonderful, and it's like, God damn it! Like so many assholes have like found love.
I
or
know
whatever.
that's what bothers me. Like there are people who are like neurotypical or whatever who are like definitely deserve love less.
Yeah. They just have like some awesome person that's like in love with them and just forgives every stupid thing they do.
Totally. Well, they just like abuse them
Yeah.
and torture them psychologically and physically.
Yeah. But yeah, that show, if you haven't watched it yet, it's a special little thing. It feels, it's kind of like a weirdly, like I have like a weird feeling a little bit like, is this like just a kind of like dirty voyeurism for me to like...
Yeah, well, it's kind of like I saw some people pointing out that like it's a little bit so cutesy that it's like, I don't know, it's like maybe infantilizing to these people sometimes, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like hard to say because like...
It doesn't, like, if you're coming at it from a place where you understand that television isn't real life, no matter how like real the people are, it's like a entertainment that's been manipulated to manipulate your emotions.
Yeah,
and,
totally.
like,
The music is like
totally.
really absurd sometimes. It's like it sounds like a Nabisco commercial or something.
Totally. So it's like obviously no TV show is ever going to be an actual representation of anything real.
Yeah, so just forget it.
Just forget about it.
But I do hope that it's interesting because like no one... Oh, I don't want to do like a spoiler alert. But spoiler alert...
You're about to spoil it?
No, I was just going to say that...
There are thousands of listeners who are going to watch.
To our 20s of listeners. No, yeah, I'm not going to spoil it. But I do think that, yeah, it's interesting because, like, they're not going to show... I wonder if it's possible to make any person look totally cool and awesome and, like not in any way twisted or fucked up, Because I feel like if people
What
like...
do you mean?
So obviously, like, the way the people on that show are presented, that they're presented in, like, the best light, like...
Yeah.
Every time they're being interviewed, they're just, like, always answering the question in, like, the precisely perfect way, of, like, for a person to seem just, like, totally cool and chill and not evil. But then, is it possible that anybody could be that chill? And just, like, oh, yeah, this person, they rejected me. But, I'm sure they had a good reason. Yeah, I'm sad. But it's just life. you know?
Yeah.
Whereas like most people are like, fuck that person, they rejected me. Like, I'm gonna write a million songs about what a piece of shit they are or whatever.
I'm gonna stalk them for
Yeah.
30 years.
Reject me. I'm gonna set your house on fire.
I'm gonna dox you. Yeah. We should all be so lucky to have some equanimity about rejection.
Yeah. I just, if in a weird way, I identify more with the people on the show than like the normies, you know? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like in a lot of ways, like the people who whatever aren't on the spectrum are the problem. You know what I mean? Like,
there aren't any people on the show who are not.
no, I'm saying like in life, like in real life outside of the show. Like if those people are representative of anything, like they just seem like way cooler than like the people who are considered
Totally. Yeah, well,
normal
it's like,
or whatever.
I do think that people who have to overcome, you know, like being neurodivergent in some way, or like have some like physical health issue, or even like addiction, or like overcoming those things forces you to be like a somewhat good person. If you are like, you know, not everybody succeeds in that, but
yeah.
But
you think
like
it like
people
helps?
who don't really have challenges, I feel like often just kind of coast in a way where they're like not having to learn that some of the things they do are harmful or destructive, or
Yeah,
whereas like we can all be harmful, we can all be assholes.
totally. So you think like it helps establish a level of empathy that you wouldn't have had otherwise if like you've never ever received any kind of resistance from the world,
Maybe.
and you've always been just like celebrated and accepted.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
mean,
true.
I don't want to like romanticize hardship, because I know that.
It's nothing to romanticize, but
Yeah.
yeah, it does. People survive, and
Yeah.
And then you adapt and you evolve, and
Totally.
you try your best.
I feel like every time I say totally today, it's just like the slurred, like I've had like 30 Mai Tais.
Yeah, I think
Totally.
it's just life. Every morning I wake up and I'm like, I know I slept because I have a memory of dreaming, but like I don't really feel.
But I also somehow remember like being awake the whole time.
Yeah,
What is that about? How am I just not sleeping but sleeping?
I don't know.
Like I have memories of the light changing like all night.
Yeah.
But somehow I was sleeping.
Yeah, I think that's why we sleep so late.
Yeah.
Well, also because we don't go to bed.
Until like 7 in the morning. That might be why too.
It doesn't seem to matter. Like when we wake up, we still can't go to bed before 6 in the morning. Like even if we like have like
Yeah.
an early day where we wake up at like 11 or something, still
Well, we haven't really tried.
we haven't like really just like made a concerted effort to like, we're gonna just do this. We're gonna wake up at
Yeah, you have
9
to
o'clock.
actually make an effort.
We did that during like my Great Depression at the early stage of our relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
And,
we,
yeah,
were,
totally.
we were waking up at like 9 in the morning or 8:30 in the morning, and
We really did it during my Great Depression of full-time.
Oh, right, with your-
jobbing
yeah,
in
yeah.
LA.
yeah, that was rough.
Should we open it up to the Zoom?
Yeah, let's do it. Zoom, 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 come on, talk to me now. Yeah.
Someone's asking if we release these shows in podcast form, and that they'd love that. And I think we should.
Yeah, we should. We should. Yeah. Are we recording them, or how is that working?
Well, they're on YouTube, so we could just
Oh yeah, just
The
rip them
audio.
off of YouTube.
just
and-
steal from ourselves.
Yeah. Hey Naomi, you want to talk?
I think we have to unmute Naomi.
Naomi, Naomi.
Naomi, she said.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh, we need the headphones.
It's weird not seeing you.
Hi.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, it's just weird not seeing you guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I-
Sorry.
We
We
have to
thought we fixed it, but we just suck.
We should just do like an experiment after this and
I-
see if we can get it to work.
Yeah.
I really don't mind. It's fine.
Thank you.
Just
So, oh yeah, I just wanted to say that I ordered Christina's albums.
Oh,
Both of
thank
them.
you.
Yeah.
oh,
So what's new with you guys?
not much. So you haven't started college yet, right?
In 3 weeks I start.
Oh, okay, cool. Did they push back the start date, or is that just normal?
No, it's still the same date.
Cool.
Just online. I
Yeah.
don't know how I'm gonna do it, but
Oh, it's just online, right?
yeah. Well, actually, one of my lab classes are gonna be in person, so we have to follow like the social distancing stuff for the actual college class. But that's like once a week, so if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Are you feeling more confident about what the like career path you're getting into? Because last time we spoke, you were feeling a little bit unsure of it. If I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I'm for sure about this one.
Nice.
I've been staying wanting this, so
That's
Yeah.
exciting.
oh my gosh, it's gonna be so long. It's gonna be like, I think it's gonna be 5 years. That's gonna take forever.
School kind of sucks.
Yeah, a lot.
But in some ways, it gives your life direction and gives you something that you're working
Totally.
towards. Because like 5 years could kind of
Yeah.
just like disappear
Totally.
with nothing accomplished.
Yeah. So I
That's
think
true.
it's great to start when you can, and if you really enjoy like what you're getting into, that's awesome.
Totally.
Yeah, it'd be really worth it. So
Yeah. I don't know anybody who's gone to like done like post-grad programs that didn't feel like they were going to lose their fucking minds. So I think it's normal. It'll be hard, but it'll
Yeah.
be worth it.
for sure, I wanted to wait a little bit, but I was like, nah, because if I wait, I'm not gonna do it.
Totally.
So, because that's how I am. So
Well,
yeah. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do the Zoom for long because I have something to do in a little bit.
Oh, that's cool.
So-
okay.
Well, it's good to say hi to you and
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm glad we checked in
Yeah.
first.
I know, thank you.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
I guess we'll say hi to Lady Charles.
Yeah, let's do it.
Bye, Naomi.
Bye, Naomi.
Thank you. Bye.
I feel like I'm not on my game today. My brain just feels like sludge. Yeah.
Ooh, cool.
Lady Charles.
Lady Charles.
Double Charles.
Yeah.
Double trouble.
Double trouble back there.
Oh yeah, I've got the second Lady Charles, and I was recreating that look because I wanted to do part of the music video like that today, so I figured why not just leave everything on and then just
Yeah.
if I leave.
So
That's
you're making-
awesome.
You're
Yeah.
making a music video today?
Sorry?
Oh, you're making a music video today?
Oh yeah, I was filming some stuff for Manic Pixie Dream Boy.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Are you going to edit it yourself? And
I think so, because that's kind of my background is like video editing and stuff like
Oh,
outside
nice.
of music.
That's badass.
Yeah.
So are you
Thanks.
gonna?
I'm like not that good at it, but it is like the thing that I do for money. So
Do you do it with like Premiere or Final Cut Pro, or what do you use?
I've used both, but I use Premiere usually.
Cool.
I prefer Premiere, I think.
Okay. Yeah, when I made Christina's video, that's the first music video I made, but I used Final Cut. But she uses Premiere mostly.
Yeah, I use Premiere.
Was that for Only the Good Boys Are Bad?
No,
no,
that was.
I mean, even the good. Sorry.
Yeah. I made that video, but Kevin made the Whisper 2000 video.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I use Premiere for Even the Good Boys and Personality.
Yeah, I like that video.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
cool.
you.
What are the benefits of Premiere versus Final Cut, do you think?
Well, it's been like probably 10 years since I've actually used Final Cut, so I don't think I could realistically like tell you. What I like better about it is just that I used Premiere first, so it's more like
It's like easier. Yeah,
But
totally.
I don't know
Yeah.
really which one's better.
I feel like they're pretty similar in a lot of ways.
I might be crazy, or I might be doing something wrong, but I feel like whenever I use Final Cut, I have to change the audio to a different. I have to change it to AAC, instead of like whatever it was before that, or
In
else it
Final
like
Cut?
or
I've
else it'll
never
like
had to
do
do
like a
that.
clicking sound sporadically throughout it.
Never
I
had
feel
that
like
problem.
video editing programs, it's like, it's the only thing I've seen where it's like for every person it's different. Like there's always some weird error you just have to roll with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like my computer like my Photoshop, for some reason, like it'll just put a big white square over my face sometimes when I'm editing, and I can't do anything to get rid of it.
Weird. I've
Yeah.
never had that. In Photoshop?
Yeah, that's in Photoshop. I haven't heard of the AAC thing with Final Cut, but that's interesting. 'Cause isn't that Apple's codec?
Yeah. So maybe that is it. Because if I like when I make those like expose videos, I film them in OBS, but then I have to extract the audio in Logic and bounce just the audio as AAC, and then put it back into Final Cut with the video, and then take the volume off of the video. So it's like this like stupid workaround.
Oh yeah, like one of those things where you're like rendering it like multiple times just to get the different pieces back together.
Yeah. But so yeah, like, but I think there's like a plugin for Final Cut called like Compressor or something that like you can change the audio formats that way, but I don't have that because I have like a crappy version of Final Cut, just like the cheap version. This is really interesting.
Yeah, I'm just like imagining being a listener and I want to die. Sorry, no, it's definitely a legitimate conversation.
I mean, all the technical stuff I find really interesting, you know?
Well, yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like you brought up technical stuff with me, so like I feel like we could just go back and forth on like the minutia of Final Cut.
I know.
Yeah, do you like, I mean, I always like looking at YouTube videos, like for example, like yesterday I spent all day, like it took me way too long because I've never made a website before, and I was trying to figure out how to make a playlist for the False Priest thing that I did, where I could just like have all of the songs, because SoundCloud booted me off. They said that I didn't have the rights to the False Priest songs, because they thought they were like the polyvinyl versions, which they weren't. SoundCloud.
Bastard.
So I really just got obsessed with like creating like a playlist that I could embed into Patreon, but I couldn't. There was no way that worked. I couldn't figure out how to do it, but I spent like so long doing it. But eventually, I just like made a website through WordPress, and just had to like teach myself how to do that like in like 2 hours or something, but I wanted to do it in like 5 minutes, but it took me like 8 hours to like figure it out.
Oh yeah.
That shit is like, and it's like kind of the crazy thing about the computer world is like, you're like, oh, I really want to do this thing. I have no idea how to do it, and I have no one to call that can like tell me how to do it. So I'm just gonna have to like dig into the YouTube tutorials and like find someone who can like possibly explain it to me.
Yeah, totally.
And sometimes you're like, you're just like, oh, like, hey guys, what's up? This is Jack from Jackhammer Productions, and today I'm going to teach you how to do this thing that you want to do. But first, let me just say, we all have problems. Yeah.
I feel like they always also like focus heavily on the simplest details and then like gloss over the part that is just like actually baffling.
Totally. You're like, wait, what?
After spending like 10 minutes showing you how to open the program.
Yeah. I hate the intro that everyone has. It's like they spend so much time on like the intro with like a little song and a little like graphic that comes in. It's like, hey guys, what's up? Bunch of bullshit. It's just like with recipes. Like whenever you like look at a recipe, and it's always like this stupid like
it's like 4 pages of like how's your dog doing, and it's like I don't care. I just want to make.
I remember the first time I had this asparagus souffle. I was vacationing in Tucson, Arizona. So yeah, tell us about your project, your music, and everything. Like, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. I've been kind of doing the more like boring like business end of things, like just like doing consults with people who I know more than me, and like trying to glean what I can. But I'm also working on like I got a new song now the other day, which like kind of sounds like if Bruce Springsteen covered Wham's Last Christmas, but like as like a Bowie low track. Like
nice.
So I've been trying to do like these kind of cross like musical referencing things, and got about like 7 or 8 songs now that I'm like partially working on. And then I have one that like I am really close and am probably gonna put out like next. I just like you ever get to the point where it's like, there's nothing that when you listen to it like seems missing, but it just feels like there is something else that you need to add?
That's the story of my life.
Yeah.
But I think that's just like psychosis, really.
It very well probably is.
Yeah, I was just having this
Probably could've-
conversation yesterday with Blake, who's in the Patreon, and he's like, obviously, he's just an amazing songwriter, but like can't, just in the same way that I can't sometimes ever feel like it's good enough, so it's never done, you know? And like that, I feel like if you are an artist, you naturally have that, and that's what pushes you to like be making shit all the time.
Yeah.
But you have to have the part of your brain that's like, stop. You have to stop right now.
When the perfectionist urge takes over, you can like go back over something for so long and make so many tiny changes that don't actually make a difference.
Totally.
Yeah, especially with like computer recording, because you could like spend like 8 hours, or you could spend like 8 weeks with like one arrangement and then be like, you know what? Something wrong about this. This is boring now. But it's really just boring to you because you've been working on it for 8 weeks. You know, so like you could change it, but it's like it's just different now.
Totally. And it also changes so quickly just if you're working on it versus if you're listening back to it. Like I was so sick of the song that I'm working on. I just couldn't hear any positive quality about it. And then like yesterday while I'm vacuuming the house, I'm listening to it. I'm like, God, this song rules.
Yeah. I always find that first morning after like a big session, like recording, is like, it feels like that's the time when you're really listening to it for the first time.
Yeah, totally. You can't hear it in the moment.
Yeah, you kind of forget about all the little things that you did.
Yeah.
And then you're hearing them fresh and you're like, whoa, that's really cool. Or then sometimes you'll be like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, that's the stupidest vocal effect anyone could ever have used. Or whatever. But
yeah, at least you can hear it.
Yeah, at least you can hear it for the first time. Yeah, it's crazy. Like when you like, it's so, I'm sure a lot of us feel this way. Like when you're like working on a project, and especially if you're like by yourself and you're just like in that whole world, and you're just like, everything is like so like charged with like value, and like you're just thinking like, oh yeah, you know, that if I add like fuzz to this bass, it's gonna change everything for my life.
Yeah.
But then, you know, fuzz bass, it never saved a life, did it?
I find it very hard to mix, to be honest.
Yeah, totally. It's like, is it a bass anymore? Like, what's happening with this thing? I think maybe you have to like stop thinking of it as a bass, because it's like, that's not a bass anymore.
I hate thinking of bass as bass.
Yeah, you have to think of it as like a Pokemon character that can like evolve into some other new thing.
I just like to think of bass as like another like monophonic counterpoint in every song. Like I never want it to just do what it should be doing.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's funny because so many things have bass frequencies in them.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, you don't need to just double down.
Yeah.
Like a downtown clown.
I want to double down like a downtown clown. Push me around.
Push me around like a downtown clown. Well, should we Zoom with some other friends?
Zoom.
Thanks so much for coming to say hello.
Yeah. See you later, alligator.
See ya.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Crystal clear.
Yeah.
I missed you guys. I haven't been to the last few.
Oh, yeah.
We missed you.
Awesome.
What have you been doing? What's kept you from us?
You've been cheating on us.
I wouldn't say that. No. I've been working a little bit. I work at a grocery store. I work at HEB. If you've ever been in Texas, you would know about it.
Oh, yeah.
HEB?
HEB. Here, everything's better. Edward, but yeah. I'm also excited because my degree came in the mail finally. My college.
Oh, hell yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Are you going to hang it up on your wall?
It's already up. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the degree in?
English literature.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Really cool.
That's awesome. Are you going to do anything with it? Or?
Yeah. So I was supposed to start law school next year, this year, I mean, but COVID pushed back my test 2.5 months. Yeah. So I missed the application deadlines. So I'll be starting law school next year.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Are you gonna, is there a specific kind of law that you're gonna get into?
Yeah. Okay. So I live in Houston, Texas, and it's the most diverse city in the U.S. And I really want to get into immigration law for that reason.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Immigration law, really cool.
That's where all the money
Very
is.
exciting. Yeah.
Just kidding.
Sure.
That's where none of the money is. But that's where all like
Yeah.
that's where all like the virtue is.
All the virtue.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
I feel like, yeah, people act like lawyers are bad people all the time, but lawyers like are so crucial to social justice.
Yeah.
I don't understand
definitely.
where that came from. I mean, I get that
I mean, just from
sometimes-
movies.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's always like the coked out, like just like corporate lawyer.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely. Yeah.
But
I won't be one of those, I promise.
that's
Yeah.
cool. Have you been doing work like that in preparation, or will this be your first time getting into that?
Yeah, this will be my first time. Really the only interesting things I've done. I helped teach a creative writing camp for little kids.
Oh.
And
That's awesome.
yeah, that was fun. Someone commented Better Call Saul. Yeah, I won't be one of those. Also at my university, I was an editor for our school literary magazine.
Oh, cool.
Which was really cool. Yeah, so I would read lots of poetry from people all over the U.S. and I would decide whether it was good or bad. Most of the time it was bad.
Yeah.
Most of the time it was terrible.
I hope you put those kids in their little goddamn places. Show them who's
Definitely did.
boss.
Your poetry
Yeah.
sucks.
Really fun. Yeah, so I've been we just published Glass Mountain.
Ah, nice.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
a cool cover.
Yeah.
Definitely a really cool cover. Yeah, so it's not just poetry. It's
wow.
art.
It's thick.
Yeah, thick.
Yeah.
Art,
Wow, that looks awesome.
short stories, essays. Really cool. You guys should submit.
Okay.
Not even kidding. You guys should submit. Glass Mountain.
I love to submit.
Yeah.
I live my life in submission.
Oh yeah, definitely.
How do
I have a
we
fr-
find that? How do
Yeah,
we submit?
so it's glassmountain.com. Submissions are actually open. It's yeah, there you go. glassmountainmag.com/submit. I'll send you guys a message after this.
Cool.
Cool.
You can tell me my
Yeah.
poetry's bad.
I don't work there anymore. I graduated. Yeah.
Someone else
Someone
will
else
tell
can
you.
tell you that.
Yeah. You can warn them ahead of time.
Cool. I'll do that. No, I'm sure your poetry's great.
Yeah, her
I-
poetry is very good.
My poetry's kind of the best poetry.
It's kind of the best.
Oh, really?
It's kind of a big deal in our house.
Probably in here then. Yeah. Do you have a pen name?
Yeah,
Beck.
Dr. Clive Moore.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Beck.
Right here.
Yeah. What are some other
Big
pen?
Bald would
Yeah.
be a good.
Big Paul.
There was a English teacher in my boarding school named Harry Bald.
No way.
Way.
That's cool.
Very
Harry Bald?
Pinchian
Yeah.
name.
Is it possible?
It is possible, and it's true.
Cool.
So what have you guys been reading lately?
I've been reading White Girls by Hilton Knowles. It's a collection of essays and stuff.
I haven't been reading anything. I've just been roller skating.
That's really fun. Yeah. I used to have roller skates when I was young, and they were the best. But I mean, I outgrew them and never got back into it. Now it's trendy. I wish it was trendy back then.
Do they still fit you?
You should have kept wearing them so they could have grown with your feet.
Yeah, they work that way actually.
Yeah. It's too bad you didn't think far enough.
Chinese foot binding.
ahead.
Yeah. Not very fun.
So you did roller skating instead of roller blading?
Yeah. Oh, rollerblading instead of roller skating.
Which one did you do?
Rollerblading.
Oh, okay, that's
Okay.
right.
The inline blades.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, I did that when I was younger, and it was fun.
Yeah.
but I don't know why roller skating just seems like more
It fe-
fun
it
to
fe-
me.
it felt harder to me when I was younger. Because I tried both. I tried skating, and it just felt really hard.
Yeah, I
I've
think it is
heard
a
that
bit
actually.
harder.
Oh, really? It's kind of weird because it's more wheels, or more stable.
Yeah, I think there's
Right.
like, because they're like next to each other, it's just harder to control like the direction you're going in and
Yeah, it
how to
might be
slow
easier
down
with just
and-
like one axle,
yeah. Yeah.
the center axle.
Yeah. There's a lot of like surface area to worry about, whereas like with inline skates, it's just one line.
Yeah.
Oh, makes sense, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Center of balance is lower with young folks.
Yeah. Young people learn faster.
Yeah, it was really fun. Maybe I should get into roller skating. I don't know.
Yeah, if you want
I'll try to wear protective gear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You got to get that first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, so I was wondering about Sybaritic Peer. What was the deal with that?
So yeah, it's basically online only digital label, and so I started it so I could release my own things that I didn't want to put out on a label, and I put out the Rune Husk EP, and I put out Christina's first record that we did together until Capture Tracks signed her. So it's just basically the only things that I put out are those two releases, and I've lost one of them, so now I just have Rune Husk. But I guess I also have some of the older Montreal catalog that nobody else owned, like I think Petite Tragedy and The Bird Who Continues to Eat the Rabbit's Flower EP, and maybe the 4-track recordings, I can't remember. But
That's
yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah. So I haven't used it very much, and like the new EP that I put out, I just put it out on Patreon because it's kind of like a weird thing, because I feel like in a way, like with Patreon, if I were to release something outside of it, I probably will release that EP eventually on Sybaritic Peer, but for now it's just like, yeah, people are already giving me money every month, so I could just give them this thing rather than asking people to like just pay for the thing, so it's kind of like an interesting way to go about like trying to have a career in music, is just like putting everything in one space. And that's what I would love for it to be, where it's like no more Spotify, no more Bandcamp for me, no more any of these other things, no more record label, and it's just like Patreon or whatever it is, so like you just like, this is the place where all my music lives, and this is basically the place where all music lives, and it's like equitable for everybody, and it's interactive and communal, and it's like there aren't just like a group of billionaires somewhere that are just leeching off of art, and it's just like kind of like
nice
farm to table style business model, where it's just like, yeah, you make the thing for the people who like your music, and they can support you and interact with you and encourage you and motivate you, and you can encourage them and motivate them. And it's like,
it's hard though, because I feel like you have to be an artist of like your stature to be able to do that, like
it's hard to
you have
start from
already
nothing.
have
Yeah.
a bit of an audience,
Yeah.
following.
It's harder for sure, but it's also, I mean, it is a thing, like if you didn't have that, then you would only have Spotify and Bandcamp and whatever. So, it is, I think, like a tool that could potentially help a young artist and like someone that's just starting out.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so and it's crazy to me. I don't know why. Music seems like the only sort of artistic platform where you really have to jump through all these hoops to even begin to make money, and it's insane. I mean, I'm really hoping what you're talking about, like the whole Patreon, like one place for all your music, really takes off, because I mean, I can only see it getting worse, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's weird. I wonder, I mean, because if like Patreon became more popular, it doesn't seem like Patreon is very popular. Like there aren't a lot of musicians on there at all. There's like barely any. I mean, like as far as like, maybe their website is just really old, but it's like, check out, these are like the big bands on Patreon, and it's like Ben Folds and Kimbra, is that her name?
Uh-huh.
But then like a bunch of people I'd never heard of, and if you looked at their like Patreon page, they don't really have like, they're not like earning a shit ton of money or anything, or they don't have like, they might have like 1,000 supporter like patrons or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But it's not
Seems like a lot.
I mean, that is a lot for sure on our level, but like it's not a lot when it comes to like people like Rihanna or something, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, Rihanna doesn't need a Patreon.
she doesn't need it, but like I wonder if it just replaced Tidal and it just replaced Spotify, Bandcamp, Amazon, Apple Music, like it's just, I don't understand like this idea of these people that are like earning a profit off of music who don't make music and don't do anything for the musicians.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's definitely.
Yeah. Isn't like the very first step you take is giving up half of your money? Like,
yeah, I mean.
And then like just adding on top of that, like what do you
Yeah.
get? Like maybe like a fourth at the end? I don't know.
Well, like I think for Spotify, if you have 1 million streams, I think you make like $1,000 or something.
Ugh. It's terrible.
That's insane.
Yeah, so like the vast majority of people won't have anywhere near that, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And even like for me, like for my records, like there maybe will be one song on the record that'll have 1 million streams, but like every other song is like way closer to like 1,000 streams or something.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, it's a
But
weird...
I think in your case, a lot of us actually buy your music.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if like hopefully you can like establish a community where people do, there are like people that will follow you. Like Deerhoof probably has the same thing where there's like a ton of people that actually want to support them. And even like a band like Radiohead that's like super, super famous and popular, like their fans will buy their record, as you have on your wall, you know? So yeah, I mean, I think there's like, it's funny because if you look at like some people like, you look at like the YouTube for like some band or like some like female artist or something or some rapper or whatever, and it has like 400 million streams or something. But then
yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, it's so crazy how like the disparity, like sometimes like somebody like will have like so many, they seem so popular, but then like no one's talking about them in
Well, because they're placed on these playlists.
Oh yeah, I guess that's the thing. If you can get into the algorithm or whatever, then like you can like have all these hits, but
totally.
I don't know.
Maybe you guys should make relaxing music for reading or music to make you sleep at night.
Yeah,
Put that in a Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
There's this article I read a couple of years ago about how a lot of the songs they put on those playlists, they have a deal with the publicists, like who are working with those artists, where they actually end up making more money from having those tracks placed high on the playlist and played a lot. So like they're only gonna place the things that are actually benefiting them. It's like a snake eating its own tail.
Oh yeah,
I've heard of that too. Yeah, like even the playlist I just mentioned, like reading playlist or a sleeping playlist.
Yeah,
it seems like they're all by different artists, but all those artists are like technically like the same dude.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like company. Yeah.
And
so,
those
like,
companies like work with Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's just a way.
That's how art should work, in my opinion. That's how you get real creativity.
That's right. Yeah. Like a group of 4 people just making everything. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. I think that it's like, it's just weird. I think we just need a revolution.
Yeah.
On every level.
Totally.
Revolution. Cool. Should we talk to Miklos?
Yeah. Thanks for
good to talk to you. See you later.
Congratulations.
See you later.
On
congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you for becoming a lawyer for immigration.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Have
Bye.
a good
Oop. Miklos. Hi.
What's the update?
Hey. What's up? Can you hear me?
What's up? Yeah.
Is it quiet? Good?
No, it's good.
Okay, now it's louder anyways. Update on what?
On the...
Your whole situation.
Yeah, your situation.
The crazy people, they moved out. Yeah, they moved out almost immediately, like right after our chat, they started moving out, and so they totally left last week.
Nice.
Which is cool because my psyche is a little bit less tormented by that. I'm still kind of scared they're gonna come back from me or something like that. But yeah, no, they just dipped out. Like I was talking to my landlord about getting a new fridge, which I got a new fridge, and that's awesome.
Ooh, fancy.
And he's like, yeah. So that was some crazy stuff, huh? Like I've heard from. He's up in Canada, so he can't come down here. But they heard from everyone else like, around here. They're all just like, yeah. And like apparently, like all the rest of my neighbors also got this like same letters, the same totally crazy letters.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I wasn't the only soulmate, at least. But she went and found my Facebook and sent me some messages and like
wow.
Ended it with like these like screenshots of like this like QAnon, like Donald Trump is trying to save the planet from child molesters and shit. And so I'm just like, oh god,
that's a common thing
somehow.
I hear.
But it's crazy though. I don't know. It's just like, how do you get there? Like I kind of understand it in some extent, like, but how do you?
I don't understand.
Just as far as like,
what are they like gleaming that from? It makes no sense.
It makes all of the sense if you read it in the right order. You know, it's like, you know, you connect the dots in that order. It's like, whoa, that's a picture. It was supposed to be an elephant or something, but instead it's a kangaroo. You know, and like, oh shit. You know?
So if you read it in the wrong order,
I don't know what.
Yeah. Oh, but it still makes sense. It still makes sense though. It still makes sense. You know.
Well, there's like this weird, just like complete block. Like they can't see that Donald Trump like was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. There's like so many videos. There's like videos.
No. It's not that he wasn't friends. That's totally true. But he was always out to get him.
Oh, he was doing it to bust him.
Yeah. Think about it, man.
But he's like laughing and smiling. Yeah.
It's like it's mind blowing for most reasonable people. But then again,
so he's
like,
on
you know,
the
we all were at.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. But so is Bill Clinton. You know, like what was he doing there? Trump was trying to take out the Clintons from the beginning, even though he went through a wedding. You know, like,
yeah.
He's a secret agent or whatever. Like it's the idea, I guess. It's mind blowing though. I blocked her immediately. And
damn, good timing.
Yeah.
Great timing.
Yeah. No. I hope so, man. It's still hanging on my conscience, but it's moving away. I'm trying to just like every time that I write a song that like I write like lyrics and I won't really know what they're about. And then like months later, sometimes sooner, sometimes longer, it'll be like, whoa, that's what that was. I wrote this thing back in June, and it was just like I just kind of like mumbled the lyrics along to kind of, you know, get an idea for like what the melody was going to be and like some sort of idea. And then I went back to that a few days ago and was like, okay, like what are these lyrics actually saying? There were a couple of lines that were really clear and a couple that weren't. And I'm like, oh, whoa, how did I do that? That was about this. That's fucking weird.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so got something out of it at least.
Yeah. That's
I
wild.
have that a lot too. I'll kind of write something that just sounds nice, and then I'll later realize that it actually means something.
Yeah, I mean, I had a meaning behind it in the first place. I wasn't totally sure about it. It's just like stream of consciousness. It's kind of like mumbling along to the melody. But then I'm like, whoa, no, okay. So yeah.
What is
that?
that?
That's nice.
What is that thing plugged in back there? Is that a synth or what is that?
Oh, it's a
bomb.
It's a Electro Harmonix V2 V6 a vocoder.
Oh, cool.
That my shit's plugged into, yeah.
Yeah.
So I could probably yeah, I like that thing a lot. I've been since yesterday was Jerry's birthday. I've been working on a cover of Althea with like vocals and stuff. It's not gonna sound like the Grateful Dead. Like,
yeah,
but it'll be fun though.
What's your favorite Dead record?
Wake of the Flood probably just by itself.
Yeah.
I was meaning to ask you the same thing.
Yeah, I like. There's things I like on Shakedown Street, weirdly, and I like the classics like Working Man's Dead and American Beauty and the first. What's like Anthem of the Sun? Is that the first record?
I think it's the second one. The first one was self-titled.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's where they have like Golden Road to Unlimited Devotion and stuff on it.
Yeah, I like those two records.
party every day. I'm on a that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm all about American Beauty.
Yeah, it's
American
amazing.
Beauty's also great.
Yeah. It's their
Is
Sgt.
Shake Down the
Pepper.
Street
Yeah.
is Shake Down the Street an independent record? I thought that was on a Mars Hotel.
I thought that was the name of the record.
No, it's just a song.
Okay.
It's Live from the Mars Hotel, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
It was the first one they released that on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'm not the biggest Deadhead.
You make a lot of references in your songs, and I feel like there's a lot of influence, especially like Lousy and Aurea Gloom seem to be.
Yeah.
They're kind of deady.
Yeah, for sure. That was like my period where I was getting more into the Dead and like getting into like Hell's Angels and that whole like counterculture, late 60s counterculture thing, San Francisco scene. And because I went out to San Francisco to make the songs for Lousy, and so just kind of like soaking up that energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. But there's not you're not a big like Live Dead fan. You haven't dug into the.
No, I
You
don't.
should, man. There's so much good stuff.
Yeah, I know.
So much funny stuff. I don't know.
I've played you some stuff that you were into.
Yeah, I mean, I always like it, but it's kind of
That's what
like
Christina is.
Yeah, Christina's way more
I
into.
grew up with it. My dad is the ultimate Deadhead. Like, he has like a Grateful Dead license plate.
Nice. Oh, yeah. What's your favorite show?
Well, I'm
Off
not
the
into that.
dome.
I'm not into like the
Okay.
what's his name? The like Dick's Pick stuff. I just
No, I mean it's just like Archive, even like Spotify and Tidal have like all of these other shows nowadays.
Yeah, I guess I generally in life prefer studio albums over live recorded music, especially with the Dead. I know that's like sacrilege, but
I think there's two bands basically. There's the studio band and then there's the live band.
yeah, totally.
They're very different.
I love
Yeah.
like Europe 72 is amazing.
Well,
I
see
love that album.
that's both. Europe 72 is
know.
live recordings overdubbed, you know?
Yeah.
So it's best
That's
of
why
both
it's
worlds.
better.
Right.
Yeah.
I've just been like trying to get into like the late 80s Dead because that's the kind of when they were actually at their like musicianship peak.
Oh, cool.
Brent was killing it. Like they were actually playing well, like consistently.
What's like
But it's also just really cheesy. Like
yeah. Is that like Touch of Grey or something?
even after that, I feel like there was one more album that I haven't really listened to that much in the late 80s, but that was just like when their live show became something that was actually like consistently good, you know?
Yeah.
Jerry's just always just kind of like looking over from the side of the stage, just like laughing at the rest of the players because they aren't up with him except for Brent over there, you know?
Uh-huh.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I feel like whatever it is that's happening in the fully live, like just the worship of it is not something that I understand.
Yeah, I've never really understood like virtuosity or like understood like
I love virtuosity, and I feel like Jerry's great at like being a virtuoso but being like melodic and, you know, like composing.
Yeah.
But I like that. Like I like compositions, and when it gets too jammy, I just tune out.
Yeah.
That's what I love about the live stuff though, is because you can hear kind of that interplay, especially with stuff that we have video, because like all of the players are really good, but like most of the time Bill Crustman's just sitting back there, like whenever they have two drummers, he's just sitting back there just like jamming, just kind of looking over, like grinning at Mickey, like just being a goofball. And Jerry's doing the same thing. He's just playing the songs, just like chilling, and like Bobby's like messing with his knobs and his amp like every 5 minutes and just being silly as hell. The interplay, I think, the personal interplay is what brings you back to it.
Yeah,
cool.
It's always fun. I love watching like live videos of bands I love, always.
Yeah, you have to like. I feel like you have to like really get into the personalities of the individual musicians and like get into their styles and you know, to like really appreciate. Well, I've never been like super into jazz either. Like I like the compositional aspects of jazz, but like as far as like like improv stuff hasn't been like something that it's like really caught me that much. You know, like I don't for some reason like John Coltrane is an amazing. Like I can like understand why people love.
I think we're just like drawn to like writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more like that's just the way, like the things that I really appreciate are
Totally.
compositional in nature and
Yeah,
not-
like even the jazz I like is very composed, and like
Yeah.
Annette Peacock is like writing crazy shit that like even if you're improvising over it, like you have to understand how it's moving. I mean, you always have to understand how it's moving, but like
Yeah.
there's just so much writing.
Totally.
Exactly though, like that's where I feel like the appreciation for jazz music can come from is when you take a chart like the same like real book charts or whatever that everyone's going by, try to play them yourself, and then you're like, oh whoa, you can do that with that. That's that's where that comes from. It's like a different understanding of the vocabulary, I think, that lends to the appreciation of like just like really crazy improvisers.
Yeah.
Especially in like the late 60s, like 60s and onward, when it started getting like really way out there, like Charlie Parker, like come and gone, like the people who were doing things like the Jimmy Page way of playing jazz music, like after that point it gets really esoteric, and you have to be like sitting down, like writing and doing the math of it and being like, whoa, like that's a really cool equation, like in order to for it to grok, you know what I mean?
And that's like where music loses me a lot, where like even I love a lot of that stuff, and I love a lot of like what is called math rock, but a lot of that is like, I don't want to do math. Like I want to listen to music, like if it doesn't feel
Math
good
rock.
and if I can't appreciate it without like getting that deep into it, it kind of loses me. And maybe that's because like, I don't know, like that's just my taste. I don't think it's bad at all. I think it's like awesome that people do shit like that. It just has to be a little cozy to me.
Yeah, that's why I write everything in the same key and just use open chords a lot. And like the new Neil Young song. Have you guys heard that?
No.
We Need a Leader. It's really, I mean, it's the boomerish thing that ever boomed, but it's like it's a I don't know how old Neil Young is now, probably 70 something, but it's a protest song from the position, like the perspective of Neil Young, who's a premier baby boomer, revolutionist, I guess, protester, and he's just like please don't put Trump back in office again. But it uses the same like 4 or 5 chords he's been using for acoustic songs since like 1972.
Yeah.
So it's like, but like that sort of formulaicism, like it lends to the audience, because no one's actually going to listen to that song more than once, except for baby boomers who are like, yeah, man, I'm voting for Biden. Fuck yeah. Like,
I really love Neil Young, and I even like
me too.
his Latter-day Sins.
Yeah, but this, yeah.
I feel what you're saying for sure.
No, what's that?
Listen to the song. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's I've known that like Bob Dylan released the song, and I know that.
Oh, yeah. Have you heard those?
I really love that.
A fucking what is it? A Murder Most Foul.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Have you heard that?
Nah.
You should listen to it. It's awesome. It's 17 minutes of it. It's like if you took a like 67 Dylan song, like something off of like Blonde on Blonde, or even before that, like Another Side of Bob or something like that, more political, and just like slowed it down so it was 18 minutes long, and then pitched it so it was the same. It's basically that. Added some strings. It's hilarious.
Wow. Yeah,
it's pretty great.
I don't know why. I don't know why it's been like.
Well, he's burned us so many times.
Yeah, I'm just like. Well, I haven't listened to it.
How do you say that with like incredulously?
I haven't listened to any Bob
his,
Dylan
like,
and like
Christmas albums. His like.
That was the Donald Trump just got elected album. This is the like 2/3 through, like, wow, are we ever gonna get out of this? Like 18 minutes long. It's about JFK's assassination, but it's just like it's basically him talking about stuff that he remembers from 1963.
Yeah.
Like, no, I love the song, but yeah,
it's like Leonard Cohen, right? It reminds me of Leonard Cohen a lot.
Yeah, it also reminds me
like later Leonard Cohen
of some like later Lou Reed stuff that's just very like that song on Blue Mask about the JFK assassination. Have you heard that?
I haven't, no.
It's
I don't know. I haven't. Lou Reed is one of the people that I haven't like extended. I haven't gone into the deep like 80s to 90s cuts just because I don't want to change my opinion about it.
Well, you have nothing to worry about.
You know,
if you feel like Bob Dylan's never burned you, I don't know how you could be afraid of Lou Reed.
Bob Dylan started by burning me. That's the thing. I'm like, what the fuck? That guy got famous? Like, that's not fair. Can't even sing, but I don't know.
I love later Lou Reed.
Yeah, later Lou Reed is really interesting because
That's good.
it's really stiff and like, just it seems like he's just like, I'm just gonna make this song.
Yeah, well, he kind of
Yeah,
just really settles into like the banality of poetry and like his
Right.
life, and I love hearing him.
What's
just-
good?
Blue Mask.
Blue Mask.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Is that the one with
reminds me of-
That's the one with the Waves of Fear.
that one's that song's
Yeah.
amazing.
It reminds me of like later Leonard Cohen, when he just has like a early '90s like Casio like beat, you know, like one of those Casios that has like the beats in it, and he
Yeah.
just makes a whole album over that with like background singers.
Yeah.
And there's this documentary which talks about like the period that he was in. He was like living in LA with this like spiritual leader like living in his house, some Tibetan monk or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But he started like taking over his brain or something. He was like, I have to make this music. And it's like Leonard Cohen just like in like, you know, like a weird fedora, like totally junked out with like a Casio keyboard. Being like, yes, this is the next song. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I feel like
Check it out if you haven't.
the idea that like the later stuff of those heroes, I don't know why people like reject the 80s and the 90s. So
Yeah, totally. I think
So
it's just
much.
maybe like aesthetically, like the sounds don't really like they haven't like gone in like a
they're
retro
not far
appeal.
enough away from
Yeah.
it yet or something.
Yeah, we can't like
Oh, yeah.
appreciate them on a retro level like we can the 60s and 70s.
But I think it's also
Wait.
partially that like as artists get older, they stop caring about being cool. And like I really don't need music to be cool. I don't need an artist to be cool anymore. Like I just need them to do what they do and to love it,
True.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's also a technology thing, like a sound thing. Like early '90s, Paul McCartney is really looked over, but
I
it's like
love
some pretty
that
decent
stuff.
songs, you know. Like and Tom Petty too. His '90s stuff, like Wildflowers, it's like the best, but it sounds super '90s. And so if that evokes you know, a nostalgia for like, you know, cheap '90s music, then that's what you kind of hear. You know, you don't hear the same thing you're looking for.
Yeah, I was thinking about that with David Bowie, that like I never listened to his 90s records.
Heathen is a great record.
Really?
Yeah, Heathen's awesome. He has like a Pixies cover on it.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's a really good one if you haven't. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to.
There's a couple of songs that are really stupid, but
Yeah.
there's a few songs that are really good. Yeah. I kind of feel like it's one of those things. It's like what if what would Jimi Hendrix have done in the '80s?
Yeah.
Oh
you
my
know?
God, I know. Well, and also like Joni Mitchell for so long, I avoided her later catalog, but Dog Eat Dog is fucking brilliant. Like even a lot of the things I probably would have been turned off by production wise, now I can hear as like
Right.
wonderful creative choices.
Yeah.
And then Shine, where like Herbie Hancock is playing like the cheesiest electric piano.
Yeah.
And now it sounds so good to me, but I feel like
Herbie Hancock. Yeah. He's kind of the king of that.
I love
like
it.
Future Shock. It's like.
He's
Sounds
probably
like,
aged the
Sin City,
weirdest.
yeah.
I love him.
Herbie Hancock, like all the stories of like people going to see Herbie live. Now it's just like, maybe it's just the people I've talked to. I've seen him on off nights, but it's always like, it's like, yeah, he was kind of just like cycling through the presets. Dun, ding, bing, bong, sheesh, bop, it. You're like on stage, like what are you doing? Like during the
I
performance.
love that.
Yeah.
Because I love the like total rejection of being cool. And
Yeah.
like I have to find just the right sound. It's like, no, just make the music. And if the music is good, then the sound will sound good.
Yeah, but you should be cycling through the presets that you're gonna use before the show starts, I think.
No,
I mean-
the thing is that Herbie Hancock invented that, like in the 80s, like the early 80s. He invented most of those presets. Like he was, foremost mind, like telling them what to program. Like he had like a whole wall of computers, a whole room of computers doing just one like Casio preset, and that's what's in every Casio synth.
Oh, that's wild.
You know?
Yeah, we should go actually because we gotta go pick up Allie.
Okay.
We always like run to the last second. Yeah. Man, it's so great to talk to everybody, and like, sorry, didn't get to talk to everybody, but we got to go.
We'll say hi to everyone who got left out next week.
Yeah.
Peace.
If you can make it.
Peace, y'all.
Bye.
Love you.
Fun talking music with you.
Bye.
Let's go out on a song.
Yeah. Go out on a limb. Go out.